let's see how many people is on this thing. Waiting for people to show up. All right, we got a couple people so far. Let's see how many people show up. My first time doing a live, so yeah, I'm just messing with this thing real quick. Let me see if I can see where you guys are. Chat filter, chat message, all messages. 3 people. And y'all know I'm shadow banned, so I don't know how many people actually got the message or even going to show up on here. I see 4 people. I don't really want to do, you know, super long video if it's not enough people on here. But yeah. Let me see. 11 people. Okay, we climbing. We getting there. All right, cool. Here we go. Yo, check in, check in. I got like 11 people so far. I don't really want to start talking until I get a little bit more people. Like I said, shadow ban, so I don't know how many people is going to even show up. I don't know how many people got the invite, but yeah. Before I get into this information, I want to get more people on here. What's going on, guys? Let me see. Okay. I see Rennie Stevens, Crazy Box Don, High Tech Head, Kern Rodriguez, Kenny Stevens, Rennie Stevens. I see you. Okay. Clement, what's going on? RX, what's going on? Everybody got their, you know, their names up. All right. Marshall, I see you. I ain't gonna pronounce that first one. I don't wanna mess it up. Let me see. We got 24 people so far. It should be way more people than this. This is what happens when you shit shadow ban. And people ask me this question about, you know, the site being shadow ban. It's shadow ban. I already went through this whole shit with YouTube, and you know, they give you the runaround as far as what they can do to fix it or what we supposed to be able to do to get it fixed. But it's nothing you really can do because you just gotta wait it out, you know, and see what happens. And one, I see what's going on. Brian Forehand, my bad. JP from Toronto, what's going on? Yeah, Carl, I'm glad to be back, man. Appreciate it. All right, 27 people. Yeah, we're getting there. We need to climb a little bit more. I sent out emails to a lot of people, so like I said, like, you know, shit is shadow banned like all over it. I don't even know who got the emails or who's seen what. All right. Ultraviolet from Fort Worth, okay. Vaughn, you funny as hell. So I thought you found Jesus. Nah, bruh. Jacob, what's going on? All right, we're at 36. Yeah, this is crazy. It should be way more. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, because I wanted to test and see how the, you know, the shadow ban is working with live stream, which of course I would think it would, you know, everything else that they censor. A lot of people asking about books and everything. I want to get into that, but I want to get more people on here. I'm going to post this video after it's done because I'm going to have to add some like pictures and stuff for you guys. You know how I do videos. So what I'll say will make more sense when you guys see the pictures. I put a link in the description for one thing I'm going to talk about as far as with the books, so you guys can understand how this shit works. And I had to really think about what I'm going to say here, because I can't really say too much under NDA, and there's a lot of legal shit that's still going on with the books. So I want to explain what's going on. Once more people come on, we have 45 people. I want to get at least 100 people on here before I really start getting into all that. But I'm going to say what's up to you guys. As you come in, don't go nowhere. Camden in the building. Okay, I see you. RX watching from Germany. Wow. Appreciate it. London in here. Okay. I'll be out there pretty soon. Brian, what's going on? Yeah, it's definitely shadow banned, Nicole. It is like a crazy situation that how they explained it to me has to do with how the advertisers want the content that you put out. And it's, I'll get into this a little bit about far as the lawsuits. It's a class action lawsuit against Google, of course. It's a lot of YouTubers who are suing Google for what's been going on, because as I talked about, I showed you guys in a previous video, like there are sites like, Gaia. You have anybody that's on Gaia or anybody that's on these Vice, you'll see them, they're verified. I put out content, but I don't put out content that's like, fucking ridiculous. Like they're talking about way more crazier shit than me, but they're not shadow banned or they're not censored like my site is. So this is happening to not just me, a lot of people. So yeah, this lawsuit's going on. It's a lot of legal shit going on, and let me see, Brian, I see you again. Who else is in here? We getting up there, 66. Want to get at least 100 people. Daughters of the Most High. Okay. Yeah, I'm from Philly, Jacob. Born and raised. Emails were getting stopped, so I had to email you guys. Yeah, emails are not going out. Like I pay so many different email sites because I had to switch up the emails. Like once my accounts got taken, I had to basically pay for email service from a couple of email sites. I actually paid for like email blasting, but the shit just don't get through. A lot of times it just don't get through. Everybody, if you check your spam, you probably got a bunch of messages from me or emails from me, because that's where they usually end up. It's hard to really find a service that can get the messages right into your inbox. A lot of times they go straight to spam. Even when I test it with my own emails, it goes into spam. So a lot of people just don't get emails. Let me see. Hey, a lot of people got firewalls, but it shouldn't be something that stops, a business email or certain emails. Like it's ridiculous. Let me see. What's going ultraviolet? Think about ETs. I'm getting it. Well, extraterrestrials. I got into extraterrestrials. A lot of videos on that. ETs are real, by the way. Like we are ETs, when you really understand that. We're not from here. Let me see where we at. 77, we getting there. It says 80 on your end. Okay, yeah, I just updated it. Now it says 82. Johnny Rose, what's the deal? Appreciate it. Respect. Let me see. Brian, what's going on? What's up? Let me see. Craig Harris. Let me see. What's going on, buddy? Can you explain details why Dubai is the best place for people? I got into Dubai, but yeah, Dubai is, they call it the safe zone. I know people that's already over there. I already have investments going on over there in Dubai. Dubai is being geared up to be the safe. It was already the safe zone, if you understand. It's just nothing. They're so neutral because nobody can really mess with, with the Saudis. they're protected by everybody. And, you know, it's a lot of reasons behind that, but that's a whole other story to get into that. Oh, 90. I know a lot of people got to work, you know, it's Sunday, baseball day. You know, I sports bet heavy, so I usually wear Phillies if I'm watching a game. Okay, let me see where we at. I got 90. Energy and Dream World video. Yeah, Energy in the Dream World is a deep video. I got to get back more into those videos. Let me see. Marcus, what's going on? Suran, peace, bro. Let me see. Okay, oh, 104, we hit it. Okay, we over 100. Hey, I appreciate you. All right, so since I'm going to edit this video and put out, what I need to put into it, I'll get into the video now. I want to get at least 100 people before I start because I don't really got all day to do this. But yeah, I want to get into what happened with the books. What happened with me first, you know, because everybody, if you're a Never Pay Again member, you got that email. I sent you guys, you know, the picture. It has some personal information on there. And, you know, what happened is when I put the books out, I told you guys I wanted to do the books the right way. So I went through a publisher and everything like that. And as you can see in the link in the description, it's basically telling you what it requires if you use a certain amount of a person's intellectual property. So that's like that new shit that's going on now. Before we had fair use and everything was just fair use if you're being critical on a book or on something, right? So I can't say the person's name, but I reached out to this woman who is basically the estate holder of the person's book I was using. Like she was controlling the estate, this person's passed. So I used a fair amount of the book because we had to keep going back to this book to reference what was in there. So, you know, we got the nod for access to use the book. So I was going to put it under fair use and use it as that. And when you have the same publisher as somebody that's putting out a book, the publisher picks up on these type of things and they seek permission from, you know, the holder of the book or what have you. So I ended up writing this woman an email and I was nice and respectful or what have you. And I didn't get the same back. So it was like a, you know, disrespectful type deal where, you know, they didn't want to give me, you know, the use of the book. So this is where the publisher had to step in and stop production on the book. We took it to court and the production on the book was basically, like if you ever go to court for a civil reason, the judge gives you time to basically figure it out. So when you go to civil court, the judge will give you time to come to some type of agreement before it comes before the judge. So this is where we're at in that phase right now. So what happens is you'll have people who go to other people that's listed and try to get them to join their lawsuit. This is how you get a class action lawsuit. I'm not saying it's one against me, but it's just people trying to get me to basically give them part of the book for our sales. And it's just something I'm not prepared to do because I'm not using the book in that capacity to where I'm going to be selling millions of books. Like anybody who buys books is usually from Merkabah Academy or from YouTube. I'm not selling millions of books or tens of thousands of books or what have you. So it's not even that deep for them to hold the content back when, one, to me it meets fair use and it meets fair use by law. And it's just they're holding and dragging the process out. So I have that going on. Situation with the IRS because of overseas accounts was seized because of PPP shit. But that's a long story. But that got straightened out. I'm just waiting for them to release my accounts now. So that's where I'm at with that shit. So during that process, of course, all that happened, I had a daughter, and yeah, it just messed up my whole life. Like everything that was going on just like was thrown off track. When these people can just come in and snatch your money in your account, you know, from under you, and leave you with like $500, that's criminal. And it was just, you know, fighting and scratching and clawing, trying to get everything straightened out and moving and everything like that. So that's why I was gone for a while. And the hold up with the books is because these people are basically, you know, I can't say too much. They're making it difficult for me to get out of this situation So my remedy is to just rewrite guide to guide to get out of it. So that's what I've been doing. It's almost done. And once that's done, then I can put those books out. So yeah, let me see. It's just legal shit. Yeah, it's legal stuff with the books. And because this person is famous, I can't really get into too much detail because it's an NDA. And yeah, so it's just once it's all settled, as I said before, I'll tell you guys everything. I'll elaborate a lot more. But that's basically the process. So I have a cease and desist. Some of the stuff I'll put when I edit the video, I'll put the pictures, the redacted shots of the court cases. I'll show you guys. But yeah, so it's like the process is just screwed up right now to where they're giving me the runaround. So rather than wait that long time, I'll just rewrite the book and get around all that. So yeah. Let me see questions. Promote your contacts. No, I'm not gonna get into Sinetta. That's a whole nother thing. Sinetta cool though. Black people get it together before. Let me see. Yeah, Never Pay Again is up and running. The link is in the description to that. And I appreciate everybody who supported on that whole thing. Like, it's people are not getting those links. Like, I don't know what it is. I got so many people that emailed me and said the link ain't working, or they didn't get the email. Like I was just saying earlier, that's usually the issue with that. The link probably don't be working, or it's always an issue with that shit. We're on reincarnation. I got a lot of videos on reincarnation. Consider a certain spiritual meaning behind certain things. Yeah, so yeah, Merkabah Academy, good question. So right now we're updating Merkabah Academy. So if you see any issues with it right now, it's going to be cutting in and out because it's being updated. So all you guys who get in Never Pay Again membership, you should be able to go ahead and register. But it doesn't matter anyway. Once the site is up, you guys will have that membership, so don't even worry about that. But it's just I'm adding new courses and adding a lot of new things to Never Pay Again to the site, Merkabah Academy. So that's what's going on. So it's gonna be down for a little bit. It'll be back up pretty soon. But I'm working out some bugs and kinks with the system. So it'll be fixed, but it's gonna be better. And as I said, for Never Pay Again members, we got that new platform that's going in there, so you guys will be able to get the videos for free again. So everybody who paid the $9.99 for Never Pay Again members, if you guys grab those two videos, I appreciate it. But that's the issue. Yeah, shadow ban is real. It's 134 people over here. I got almost 107,000 subscribers, and I probably get 400-500 messages, a day. It's the amount of emails I get versus the showing a lot of times on the videos is completely different. A lot of people can just go ahead and send an email, but it doesn't show up the way it's supposed to show up. So yeah, to have that many subscribers and the views are low, everything is low. Like this is what happens. Like I said, you got to make a decision to choose between putting out the truth or getting the money. And there's a lot of dudes on here who getting the money and they're putting out bullshit. Let me see. Yeah, the Quran is a popular religion, but that's for people who don't do no research. The Quran, like, come on, it's one of the easiest religions to debunk as far as, looking at the history of it. So a lot of people jump into Islam because they just don't know where to go. Yeah, the Quran is definitely worth the read. Definitely read the Quran. For what's that? Joy Boy Izzy. Yeah, definitely worth the read. It is a good book. So is the Bible. So is the Torah. Read all that shit. 2020 flash drive. Oh yeah, flash drives are going out. Don't worry about that. Yeah, Philly's on top right now, Jude. Flash drives are going out. That's on me with the flash drives because I had so much shit going on. I didn't really have time, and then like my people I had helping I lost them. So I don't have really too many people helping out right now. But that was on me because I just had so much life shit going on that I couldn't really get into getting them out. But they're going out now. So if you're waiting on the flash drive, it's going out. So you guys will get those. Let me see. Who is that? AM Beast Coast. You still selling PS5s? No, them joints going. I was selling PS5. I was selling everything. Let me see. Runs the world at the very top. Energy, witchcraft. What about manipulating energy and witchcraft? I got videos on witchcraft and energy and everything like that on YouTube. Let me see. Is that Zonovan? Zonovan? What up? For Mariah, I appreciate you. Being bookmark. Yeah, all those stocks I suggested, sit on them. No, don't worry. This video, if you came in late, don't worry about it. This video gonna get posted, and I'm gonna post this video up. So, like I said, I'm just gonna go, explain again, just to reiterate for people who might have came in late. But it's only at what 160, 159. So yeah, I was elaborating on books. What happened with the? I got to be careful about what I say because I can't say too much. But yeah, with the books, it's just the legal process. That's it. That's basically what it is. When I thought these people was going to let up, I mean, I was going to do some illegal shit and go around it, but it's not worth it at the end because you just end up getting sued. And I went to law school, so I know better. So I just wanted to do everything the right way. As I said, there's a link in the description that you can read to get into how it works when you're using intellectual property. There's fair use and there's intellectual property, and then it's basically copyright, copyright infringement. So if you're using a quote from a person's book, that's fine. But they basically use, if you use those over 500 characters, I believe it is, 500 words or something like that, then you have to get permission. So when you read that first link that's in the description, you can read about how that works. So when I was saying before with the books on how I wanted to do it the right way and get permission, that's what I did. That's what the publishers do. They get permission first. If you don't get permission, then you can basically legally go in the back door and just say, you know what, I'm only going to use X amount of the book so it meets fair use. And I'm being critical of the book. If you're being critical of something, it meets fair use. So if I'm being critical of the book, which I was being critical but also citing, it still met fair use. And I did use a certain amount of the book, but no matter what I did, it met fair use. It's just the person who is bitter and racist who's holding this up in court, and that's the issue. And like I said, at the end of the day, we're going to win. So it's just a waiting process at this point. But to get around it in case there's an issue, then I just rewrite the book, which I'm already doing. Lovely rat, why are you gay? Who's gay? I did a whole video on what's going on in Palestine. That's what the God of 2025 is about. Make sure you grab that video. I got a booger in my left nostril. Cool. Let me see. Truth usually wins. It always wins. Yes, there will be a Shadow Satan 8. What's my thoughts on Billy Carson? Everybody asks me about that. You can judge that for yourself. Do we have a cure for autism or ADHD? Autism, depending on the stage of autism, what's her name? Miss Rachel. I recommend Miss Rachel for any kids that has autism. It's been so many kids that started talking and developing a lot more watching her on YouTube. So check out Miss Rachel. If you got kids and you don't know about Miss Rachel, you sleeping. Hey, yo, thanks, man. Yeah, the time video is crazy. I actually got another part coming for time. Let me see. For Kemet. No, Sumer didn't come before Kemet. You got to remember, the Sphinx, they dated to over 30,000 years old, and the Great Pyramids could be over 100,000 years old. So that civilization that built the pyramids is definitely older than the Sumerians. Yeah, Brianna, Miss Rachel is awesome. Definitely for kids. Anybody who got kids with autism, it's good to definitely let them watch Miss Rachel. Highly recommend it. Her stuff is backed by science. She's awesome. The Bible is very significant. You must read it. It's a must-read book. One of the greatest books of all time. Well, the civilization that came before the ancient Egyptians, because as I talked about, when the people who we know as the dynastic Egyptians, when they went up to Egypt, those pyramids was already there, but they also knew they had that knowledge, so they were trying to redo basically what was there. So yeah, I mean, study all that. Of course, the metal netter has been deciphered. It's just like it hasn't been deciphered by the people who say they deciphered it. So as far as them saying, as I said before, no hieroglyph corresponds to A, B, C, D. It's pictographs. It's like you have to be there. Like 20,000 years from now, if LOL goes out of style, if you wasn't born or living during that time, you're not going to probably know what LOL means. We know in this time what LOL means, but 20,000 years from now, civilization goes to hell, and somebody finds that writing LOL, they probably don't know what the hell it means. But we would know in this time. So that's basically the situation we have with the hieroglyphs. But if you see it enough pertaining to certain things, it's easy to break down and figure out. Money. That's why Billy Carson would take that route. Money. Like, y'all smart. Like, come on. Y'all smart. Like, anybody that's coming to you saying they was visited by aliens or had these contacts with aliens or what have you, it's somebody you should really question and think about. Like again, people asking about what's his name? I talked about him, Terrence Howard. I mean, you got to think about why all of a sudden these people jump on here and start putting that type of information out. It's it's bullshit. So don't get into all that. The Anunnaki shit is so easy to just get around that. It goes back to Stitching, and Stitching is a fraud. Don't believe nobody that's trying to push that fucking Anunnaki bullshit on y'all. We were not created to mine gold. I mean, that part right there should just wake y'all up. Who was that? Yeah, Beanie Siegel was all that. That was that Sausage Mahoney. Yeah, one of the best. Aliens are our true God. Yeah, we are the aliens though. Yes, Jews are fake. Bullshit. They're fake. Created, not real. Terrence seems legit to people who don't know real information like that. 1+1 does not equal 2. Get the fuck out of here. Like, come on, man. Y'all smarter than that. It's just, even the laws he put in place for that, it debunks the whole thing. 1+1 equals 2. Like, come on. Like, I understand the whole rule and what he was trying to say as far as, the rule says it can't end in a singular, but it says it can when you really pay attention. Like, it's bullshit. This dude is a Mason. He's doing basically what Stitching did. Don't believe that nonsense from that guy. It's a lot of people that's already crushing his work anyway. I don't got to really get into that. Sit on that crypto. No, you are Jesus. Aliens is not Jesus. Let me see. Dane Calloway. A lot of people ask me about Dane Calloway. The jury's still out on that. I didn't really get into that work real quick. Let me see. Anunnaki. Hold on 1 second. No, Anunnakis are bullshit. Don't even get into nothing Anunnaki. It's a fucking lie. Don't waste your time with that. Because, like, I know a lot of people will jump on that, but again, it's when you do the research, you're going to get to the point that's going to, reveal the truth to you as far as the Anunnaki. It's a lie. Stitching created it, as I said, to get his 33rd degree in Freemasonry. It's a lie. It's all stories. The shit has all been debunked. And the dude did not read Sumerian. It's about 6 people on the planet that can read ancient Sumerian. He's not one of them. He said he taught himself. Now you got people who are using your, I'm going to say, ignorance to basically deceive you. That's why all this Anunnaki stuff is going on, because they know you don't know. So they're trying to mix all this stuff in together to make it like this Anunnaki shit is real when it's bullshit. So, don't even feed into that crap. Who is the UJet? Thank you for the stars. I appreciate it. Thoughts on? Let me see. Thoughts on? Banking about to go to hell. Banking is about to be completely different. Of course, digital. So we're gonna get into that in the next stock market video, which is the next video coming out. But good question on that, because banking is about to completely change. If y'all been paying attention, even Bank of America has been in trouble. And who is that just gave back a bunch of money? So the banks is going to, so they pissed off right now because they kind of got into bed with the wrong people. But it's really them when you really pay attention. But they're going to make it look like it's not. So the issue is, one, the banks are going to have to change their charter. What's in the charter, all that shit is about to be done. Everything's about to change. It's in that executive order that Biden signed. And they have to change the way banks work. And it's going to happen slow. But hopefully it doesn't go down the way it went in Cuba, or when people woke up and their bank account was empty. So think about that. I talked about that in Guide of 2025. Let me see. Yeah, Bank of America is full of bedwetters, Ash, for real. Tariq Nasheed, what is my thoughts on Tariq? Been putting out stuff for a long time, man. And it's like, you can't put everybody in that same boat, because you don't know what people's agendas is and who they done got in bed and made deals with. You can just go off of their works, and he's been putting out good works. And sometimes you gotta, you get in line with certain people, and you don't know who they are or what their agenda is. And I think that's the situation with him. He crossing lines of people that's a little sketchy, but at the same time, I think he's still getting out his side of the story, no matter what. So, yeah, Tariq Nasheed, I got no problem with him. Eagle, you funny. Was it worth it for Meek Mill to get his cheeks clapped by Diddy? That never happened. That video was, or that audio was from the gay community. Already came out and debunked that. So you kind of late on that. So it was, it was Dream and Moya. It was from a gay porno by Dream and Moya, the whole Meek Mill audio. So that's what that really was. It wasn't him and Diddy, by the way. But that had been debunked a long time ago. Let me see. Yeah, Tyreek, exactly. His wife's a Jew, so like I said, people get in, they get in arrangements, but it doesn't. You gotta look at their body of work and what they putting out, what they saying. It doesn't make them like, an insider or agent or what have you. Just look at the work and what they're saying. Like when people start coming up saying they got visited by aliens and all this shit, Jesus was an alien, and trying to tie in stupid ass shit. Like, come on. I don't even like saying boy name because he pisses me off. Dr. Umar is a genius. I have nothing against Dr. Umar. He's tiptoeing a very fine line from what I see. Like, well, he's doing good. I don't agree with everything he says, to keep it real, but in his lane and what he's been putting out, and the body of work Dr. Umar put out over the years, has been good. I don't agree with everything that he says and talks about, but I got nothing bad to say about him. Am I a vegetarian? Hell no. Yeah, hold on to that stock. Who is that? Is the Flolatio? Hold on to that stock. Sanchez ain't terrible. Boss Nation, is everyone from Africa? Yes and no. That's a tough one, because you still got to think about formation of these lands before they went apart, and was there people in there. Now we're finding bodies that existed 100,000, a million years old, and yeah, so it will look as if at some point, we don't know. So nobody can tell you definitively that we all came from Africa. But as far as after this global catastrophe that happened that I talk about, that's what it looks like. So the whole out of Africa theory, we know we can trace DNA back to Africans. The oldest DNA on the planet would be African. But as far as like where we was put first, I mean, you got to think about it. Since we melanated, and the first people was melanated, it will make sense to be Africa. But then it could be other places that was hot as well. So that's a hodgepodge you got to dive into. Demoralize, man. Get to see it. Talk. Let me see. Oh, the tall whites is not new. They've been around for a long time. There's a lot of pictures out there. Even a couple of videos I put out on the tall whites. And you see the tallest man in the world is an African dude. And I think it's like 9 foot right now. And he's still growing. And he got to get surgery from what I heard. But yeah, there is a long legacy of tall whites. And for a long time, the tallest man was, I think it was Serbian. So yeah, that's not new. Sean Cunningham, Philadelphia, Philly. Stop it. We number 1. They just won me some money today, too. Lord Trill. So do you think Billy Carson purposely is misguiding people? I mean, come on. You're smart enough to understand that yourself. Listen, I talked about this in videos before. Nobody has deciphered the Sumerian text. We don't know what the fuck they said. It's about 6 people on the planet who can read ancient Sumerian, and they will tell you themselves that, and I put this in one of my videos, one of the DVDs, the people who spoke about stitching, and they said he's a fraud. These are the top leaders, and these are people that's not on YouTube. They don't have blogs. They are real researchers that'll tell you stitching was a fraud. He told you himself he deciphered the Sumerian tablets on his own, which nobody can really read those damn tablets. And so anybody that's pushing to you the tablets are real. Let's get that out of the way. But nobody knows what those tablets says. It's certainly not Billy Carson or Zechariah Stitchin. So we don't know what they say. So yeah, it's them piggybacking off of Stitchin's work. Stitchin is dead and gone now. So there is a lot of people that's jumping in and out of there because there's not nobody to really challenge them, you know? Who's going to challenge their work? And there's a lot of people that's more intrigued. It's like selling a movie. You know what I'm saying? The movie is intrigued. It's a good movie. You like it. You want to watch it. So you don't really care about the director and stuff like that. It's a good, intriguing movie. Part 1 was awesome. So you want to, this is part 2, it's a part 3. So you're going to jump on the movie and watch the movie because the first part was good and nobody really cares about the history of it because the story is just so fascinating. And that's what we have with the whole Anunnaki bill. The Sumerian tablets, like, come on. Like, don't get into that stuff. It's like we're not going to ever know what they say, just like we're not going to ever know what a lot of the Egyptian hieroglyphs say. A lot of that stuff is just passes time, and we can only go by instances that's like, you know, similar to each other as far as breaking down the content. And when it comes to the Sumerian tablets, we can't do that because we don't have a bunch of them to match up with anything. Like, we can't go and find what it was actually talking about. And like I said, the 5-6 people on the planet that can actually read it, I tell you, I mean, it's just like a couple things they can make out because there's just a few things that we can find that's in Sumer that matches up with those tablets, but we don't know what those tablets say. So it's people taking those tablets and saying they say this because of what Carson is saying is different from what Stitchin is saying because he's putting all this other biblical shit in there. So yeah, it's bullshit. Yeah, that's why I said with Tyreek, you know, you got to pay attention to what people putting out. So I don't like to really talk bad on people and stuff like that. Like, I think, like, as I said before, everything these people put out, whether it's bullshit or not, you should know. Soak it in, because when you do actual research and you start coming across shit, you can easily debunk their shit. You know, you can debunk these stuff because you know what they're saying and what they're talking about. So when you do your research and you find the truth, then you know what was said that you can debunk, you know, by knowing they stuff. That's why I said read the Bible, read the Torah, read the Quran. You got to know what these religions are saying. So when you go out and do your research, it's easy to debunk their shit. Let me see. Don, thank you, Don, for the $2. I appreciate it. Yo, so here's this is the last day for people asking about Never Pay Again membership. Grab it. It's going to be over tomorrow. It's going to go back to that high ass price because I think that's what it's going to be worth once ultimately all that shit is done. So Definitely get the Never Pay Again membership. The link is in the description. It's the last day. It's going to be at this price. And I appreciate everybody who got it, and everybody who grabbed the catalog or what have you, all the videos on there. Like, people, like, it's fucking it's what, 200 videos that's come up with that whole thing. It's stuff I've been putting out for over a decade. It's a lot of videos. Like, the disrespect is so real on that whole thing. It's really worth the price to go and grab it. It's super cheap. So yeah, Never Pay Again members, grab it, take care of it before the price goes back up. And yeah, we're updating the site right now. So yeah, for the people who asked about that, I appreciate you guys supporting on that. Graham Hancock is a genius, and he's an asshole at the same time. So yeah, don't get me started with that. You got a lot of people who is using, and let me say this first, because I said this before. Whoever you're following, I don't care who they are, if they're not talking about Africa and black people, as far as in history-wise, they bullshitting you. Everybody want to jump to this alien shit. Like, who is talking about the Dogon? Why aren't these people talking about the Dogon? And I got a video coming out on that. They're not talking about African. They're bullshit. They're giving you a bunch of alien shit to detract from Africa and where all that information came from. So that's what you need to pay attention. And it had nothing to do with race or color or what have you. It's just the truth. If they're not giving you the African information, the Egyptian information, even Sumerian or what have you, as far as black, and using black and saying black people, it's bullshit. You need to really, like I said, pay attention to it, but be cautious. Monkey D, what's going on? Yes, N1, Umar is authentic to the bone. I agree. Let me see, 200 people so far. Whatever. Pocket Beats, what's going on? Yeah, I got into books and what's going on with the book, so I'm going to repost this video and I elaborated on that. So don't worry about it. If you order the book, you're going to get that joint, unless you already got a refund already. And that's another thing real quick, because I did this, I'm coming on live, because I don't do shit like this. As you guys know, it's my first live ever. But I'm coming on here for the people who send me emails, who don't know what's going on. For the people who send me emails, I got a lot of emails from people that say, I'm going to wait for the book. I appreciate it. A lot of people who got refunds got their refunds. And this is for them as well, because I'd rather you go and get a refund. Go to your bank or what have you, because they took my PayPal from me. Remember, I had two. They took the one with a lot of orders on it from the books. So I would rather people go and get a refund, or ask for a refund at least, rather than jump on here and say, oh, this nigga's scamming. Like, the shit I done in years, like, it's to scam people for a fucking book. Like, come on, man. That's just dumb. It's a book. I'm not that fucking hard up over a book. It's a book. You can easily go to your bank and get a refund, or ask for a refund. It's a book. If you don't want the book, you can get a refund. Flash drives, as I said, I take responsibility for that, because flash drives is on me. That's why that's late. But anybody before, I was putting out DVDs everybody got their DVDs when I was selling DVDs. I had to stop doing that. Everybody got them. Nobody was missing a DVD. Flash drives was going out for the most part until I ran into this issue. So there never was an issue with people getting shit up into this book stuff, because I did shit by the book. Like, I asked for permission, and a lot of people are looking to get paid rather than just give me permission to use a small sample of a book. So that's what's tying shit up. So for the people that waited, this is why I'm doing a live for you guys. For the people that send me emails, just giving me encouragement, this is why I'm doing a live, to let you guys know what's going on. Because there's a lot of people who just not getting the emails or seeing the videos. So yeah. Patreon. Yeah, I know a lot of people ask about Patreon. Didn't really want to get on that because of it. Like, I know Merkabah Academy, a lot of people look at shit these days and they just think everything is about money. He's trying to get money. But it's not even about that shit. It's about the information. Like, who the hell is going to put out all the content I put out? The Never Pay Again sales. I done sold that shit for $10 before. How much time I put into that? I sold it for $9.99 before. Hundreds of videos. And it's not about that. It's not about money. Patreon is a good platform for people that's going to be posting content that they want to sell. I don't really want to sell everything. I want people to get the memberships and then get the shit for free, and then that's that. Then it's worth it for me. It's worth the time. If you just get the membership, which is cheap, then you don't have to pay for no more videos. It just makes sense to me to do it that way versus every single video you got to pay for. Get the membership, you don't got to pay for no more videos, and then nobody can talk shit and say you just trying to get money out of people by keep dropping videos. Because people said that to me. Oh, Merk, he's just about the money. He's just trying to get money. Every video we got to buy. But I sold Never Pay Again membership for $10 fucking, and people didn't get it. Like, so to say, you know what I'm saying? You know, to say it's about the money. No, when I sold the membership for $10 before, $15 before, $7 at one time. Remember that shit at the $7.99 sale? So if you didn't get it then, like, come on. Don't come on here kicking that shit about, oh, he just trying to get money, he's scamming. When I made it so easy for people to get the sell. Even now today, $59.99. Are you serious? You're going to get all the shit you're going to get for $59, then it's going to go back up to $2,000 tomorrow, and then you missed that shit today, and then in 2 weeks, people are going to be saying, oh, $2,000, he's scamming. So, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, see? What's that? Woodley, I'm sorry, I want to mess up your first name. But yeah, there's certain people that paid $500 for the membership when I first put it out. Like, it's not even fair to those people who pay $500 for the membership to see it sell for $7. You understand that? And I do that because I had to do that because this is how shit works. Like, a lot of people can't afford that money back then, and I had a lot of people buying. So when you got a lot of people buying something, you don't want. I wasn't. No, not Philly bandwagon. I'm from Philly. Who's that? Tundra T. I'm from Philly, born and raised. But no, I didn't want to do that to the people who spent all that money, and I didn't want to make it so hard for everybody to get it. You know what I'm saying? So when I had a lot of people buying, I didn't want to make the price so high. That's being greedy. So I lowered the price so people can get it, and yeah, I made it easier for people to get it. Kim, I appreciate you for copying Never Pay Again for 500. You the man for that. Let me see. When woman was first place here, did she already have a reptilian brain? That's a good question. And I would say yes from the artifacts that Maria Gambudis found. I talked about her in the video. Because those reptilian figurines, there's no way around that shit. Like, we're going to get into this deeper, but you got to think about it, man. Like, we're talking about reptilian artifacts that's some of the oldest artifacts found, period. Not to mention the Norma palette, the Hanrek Amplis slate, the Norma palette with those fucking Stegosaurus-looking things on there. You got to remember, as I talked about in the video, how did these people draw this shit before TV was invented? So, like, who the hell is drawing the Stegosaurus and drawing these serpent beings and not seeing them? You know, ain't that much imagination in the world. They had to have seen them with their own eyes for them to draw it. So, yeah. Let me see, your boy MB. I know MB can't stay healthy for shit, D. I don't know. What's up with that? Yes, he would. Maria Gambudis, look her up. She is amazing. Brianna, but I appreciate you, though. Donald, yeah, I'm in Vegas, man. Vegas, LA, back and forth. Talk about that. Let's see. They are talking about the human brain. Let me see. Yeah, prerequisite information is important. That's why when you, like I said, the Never Pay Again membership, if you get the Merkabah catalog, it comes with that order to watch list. So you guys can get the prerequisite, you know, you can watch the videos in order so you're not lost. So it's one of the things that make it hard to get into researching, because it's a lot of shit you got to know, you know, ahead of time before, you know, for it to make sense. Like I talk about what the preachers, a lot of preachers don't know what the Septuagint is. They never heard of it. So if you're not starting with the Septuagint as far as your biblical history, you're going to believe the shit that they're talking about is actual history. So yeah, prerequisite information is a lot. Let me see. Yeah, I know. Patreon is. I want to keep everything Merkabah Academy in-house. I don't really want to go too much outside of Merkabah Academy, because when this whole shit come crumbling down, I don't want somebody to have control over my stuff. So this is the whole reason for the servers, and everybody who supported the server drive. We got the servers because of you guys, so appreciate it. Like I said, I got to thank Ace Cloud. I got to thank April, Jesse James, Lisa, Monique, Terrence. It's a lot of you people who big donations, and I found a person that gave us a good deal on the servers, and that's how we got them. So it was super expensive, but we got a good deal. But thanks to those people, that they made it possible, especially Ace Cloud. Cameron, what's going on? Appreciate it. Hi, take care. Yeah, that's my first live. I don't do live because I be busy as shit, man. Like y'all understand, especially now having a 6, 7 month, 7 month old now. So basically started over. So having a baby, that's a lot. She keeps us busy. I said, what about the theory? Reptilians board the moon as a ship. It's just a theory. Reptilians board the moon. Yeah, the moon is definitely something you cannot buy. Dragons help build buildings. Let me see. The moon run out. Yeah, I heard that about the moon ringing like a bell. That's something I talked about in what's that? The ET DVD with Richard Hoagland. Richard Hoagland, who did the whole thing about the face on Mars and everything like that. And this dude he worked for NASA. He ended up finding a bunch of pictures and shit about the moon and Mars and everything like that. That was later proven, well, they said was fake at first, but then it was later proven to be real. And then they didn't really get too much into that information anymore. And Hoagland was going around for a long time talking about this stuff. But the moon being a construct is something like, I mean, the evidence and what people said is hard to ignore, but we're never really going to fucking know for real, because we can't get out there and see. Excuse me. Excuse me. Live lectures. I'm going to do some live lectures eventually. I'll get into that. Got to get a little bit more stable once I get out of this situation with fucking IRS and everything like that. Yeah, somebody else told me about Raised by Wolves. I got to check that out. Meditation. Meditation is important for just everyday life, man. It's just important to just keep you level-headed. Not just programming yourself, but just to keep you, keep you going through it. Just think about it. Like, you get up in the morning, if you had time to meditate the night before, or you meditate before you go out into this crazy-ass world, and program yourself to what you want to do this day, and stand on that, stick to that. That's a good thing to have. That's a good thing to have. So like meditating regularly all the time, every single day is good. If you're in a lifestyle that needs that, but like a lot of people are more, if you're grounded, you got everything going on and you move on like clockwork, you don't have to do it as much except for plan ahead to get yourself ready for the next step. Let me see, they got I appreciate it, D. Darren, appreciate it. Oh, God. Work, would you ever sell minoxidil? And it's from The Simpsons. The hair growth stuff. Let me see. Yeah, why is reincarnation not preached when every ancient civilization talks about reincarnation? It's something you can't ignore. I mean, even in the Bible, Jesus talking about reincarnation when he was talking to Nicodemus about the kingdom of heaven, which is the woman's womb. So that's reincarnation. And, coming again, everybody thought being born again was being actually, saying I'm a good person now and then I'm born again. He's actually talking about being born again. So reincarnation. Let me see. The re-after. Do you believe academia is saying that the male species has more sex with other males than females? Ugh, I don't know about that one. Highly doubt it, though. Yeah, Marcus, good question about the Bible series. Definitely going to continue that. So I had already planned ahead for the next 4 books is basically already done. So I'm going to put that out, those series. I got to edit those videos. So the Bible series is going to continue. We're going to get that out the way because it's going to get crazy with the Bible series, especially when we get over to the New Testament. But it's some other videos I got to put out so the rest of the books of the Bible make sense. Let me see. See my Coinbase. Oh my goodness. Just got an alert from Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at 63,000, y'all. My goodness. I got 2 kids. That's it. You ever seen other social? Somebody asked me this before. You have any other socials? What do you mean by other socials? Roco 12? What do you mean by any other socials? Let me see. Mammals, close to yeah. I mean, I talked about this in the video before about the genome sequencing of human beings. This was done, and it was done by independent researchers, which is why I trust that information. When independent people do shit, and that's what you need to follow too. Pay attention to the independent researchers. Fuck what these other universities is talking about. Even though I worked with a couple before, still the independent researchers is good, especially when they have the same findings as another independent researcher. So the independent researcher who did the genome sequencing, I forget her name, but yeah, we really found out that we are made up of a bunch of different animals. We have a bunch of different animal genes. Like I said, I showed you guys with the chimp hand, ape hand, primate hand. It looks like ours, so we can't get around that. I talked about the double helix, the DNA of us and those primates, and how it looks the same except for at the end, ours is basically programmed to continue to grow where the primates is cut off, which is why we're evolving as humans and the primates have been primates for a long time. They're something definitely, like this is why I said, like, you can't get around us being created. You can look at our DNA and see tampering. Like, they're just not going to tell you this shit on the news, but it's like if you're a physicist, geneticist, scientist, what have you, you're studying DNA, clear as day you can see at the end of the double helix strand, it's programmed to continue. What the fuck that means, I do not know. And it's locked. It's like locked in certain places, and we don't know, or we know how to unlock it, but it's like not something you can just explain. So looking at that shit, you can see clearly that something created us and created us to grow and expand, but something is programmed us to stop at this point in time. And it kind of seems like with everything we're seeing now, they're trying to put shit in us to keep it that way, and we'll see what happens. More lives, link up with other like-minded black people, strengthen numbers. Yeah, so like I was, when the whole debate shit was going on with Brother Polite, and who I met Brother Polite years ago. A lot of people ask about that. I'm from Philly, so he used to come into Black and Noble, and before he was like Big Brother Polite, he used to come in there and talk. I busted out with him a couple times and shared some information. Brother Polite's a cool dude. He changed later on, but when I knew him back then, he's a cool dude. But linking up with other like-minded people got agendas, and that's the thing. Like, not everybody stands the same way you stand. If I really jumped into that situation, I wouldn't be me. Like, people start getting those checks and they go chase the money, and that's the issue. The thing is, once the people hand you that money, that's it. They own you. You know how many people dangle checks, and that's it. That's game. You took their money. You gotta stand on what they want you to stand on. You gotta talk about what they want you to talk about. If you go sideways or say something else or this and that, you got problems. And then you get with people, and then that's how you get infiltrated. I stick solo because it's just easier that way. I can put out what I want to put out. I talk to and deal with a lot of other like-minded people. So yeah, it happens, but it's usually behind the scenes, so you'll see some collabs, maybe in the future just on some interview type shit probably. And I did, when I put the video out for the lecture I did at UNLV, so you guys, if you've seen that lecture on, I think I got a video on my Instagram. So I did a whole lecture at UNLV with the whole debate on hip hop or what have you. And that was just like something that I did for a friend and something that I wanted to really talk about, because you guys know what I talked about that before. I elaborated on that before. It's a lot of questions in here. So, bear with me real quick. We had 268 shadow ban. This is what happened. I've been here for almost an hour. We only got 200 people. Yeah, that's Taylor. Shout out to Taylor Cummins. If you in there, Taylor, what's up? Taylor, you'll probably see me link up with her as far as like doing stuff. Taylor was the moderator in that video that I did with the 2 Grammy Award winning guys at the University UNLV. So she is super conscious. She travels the world. She's doing a lot of stuff right now. So you'll probably see me do some work with her, just like that last video. So shout out to Taylor. Let me see. Do I fear God? I am God. Let me see. Saturn, our sun again. Oh, that's a good question. What's that? L. Omac? Oh, Saturn. That's why I said Saturn saying part 8 is coming out because, as I said, there's a lot of shit going on with Saturn. And now we're going to get into that. And remember, Saturn, you got to think about it. Like, as I said, the sun that they're talking about in the Old Testament is Saturn. There's just no way around that when you understand. The New Testament is this sun. It's giving you the past and the present, what's going on as far as sun worship, what they was talking about back then. And also telling you that there was a time where we could see Saturn and they could see it as a sun. So Saturn, it's a lot going on with it. I don't want to give away too much, but our sun is changing, as we know, intensifying. And Saturn is doing some crazy shit too, which we'll get into that. What living human did you go to learn? Hoop Daddy, what's going on? Peace. Yeah, Victoria, like, appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of people found out on IG. I posted that up there. A lot of people didn't get the email. So thanks. Shout out to those who follow my Instagram. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Yeah, my son is super conscious. He watches my videos all the time with his friend. My son calls me all the time with questions. Like, he just got finished watching the Star Wars series. Like, he binge watched them, so he got a lot of questions. But he always calls me with questions, and we go back and forth. My son is like one of my best friends, so yeah, we talk a lot. My daughter's only 7 months, but she's going to know, of course, everything. No, God is not accurate for who we are. God is a man-made word and term. Like, I talked about that as far as like a creator is a better word to use than God. God is so much with that. Because when you start talking about God, religious stuff comes into play, and we know what's up with that. A lot of Saturn questions. You guys are on it. Excuse me. Yeah, Delbert Blair. Delbert Blair is somebody who I was following his work a long time ago, and he kind of switched off. Like I said, money come into play. A lot of people change, but Delbert Blair, a lot of his work and his early work is really credible. I wasn't banging with a lot of his shit later on. Thoughts on crypto? Buy it. Crypto is the future. Crypto is now. Crypto is about to change everything. Wham! Yeah, my son was actually working on a comic book. So his comic book is going to be dope when it comes out. But I was working on one as well, and it's actually done, by the way. I just never got around to putting it out. Yeah, exactly. God means good, plain and simple. Yeah, of course, Bill Cooper. Bill Cooper, again, Bill Cooper, I would have been cool with Bill Cooper if he just would have jumped on to the African part of his information. He stayed away from it. Bill Cooper get into a lot of good shit, and he really breaks down the Bible really well, but he never goes back to Africa. Anybody who's not going back to Kemet, going back to Africa, stay away from them. They're not trying to give you any truth. Can you explain the terms AD? Oh, you should know that. So a lot of people with AD and BC, a lot of people using BCE, before Common Era, or AD, what people interpret to believe after, Anno Domini, I'm gonna butcher that word, Anno Domini, I believe it is the Vatican term, but people interpret it to be after the death of Christ, AD, or we'll say CE, which is Common Era. Excuse me. I got water in here somewhere. I put water. But yeah, that's the difference. BC or BCE, which I like to say BCE, I say that a lot. BCE would be before Common Era. CE is Common Era, or AD would be basically, you can say after the death of Christ. And everything is in history is always breaking down to those terms: before Christ, after Christ. Because when you hit BC times, it's the count up instead of the count down. You understand? So everything is different. So like we'll say the 2nd century would be like the 3rd century. So the 200s would be the 3rd century BCE. When you understand, kind of it goes up. No problem there. After Bill Cooper is cool, man. Like really paying attention to what Bill be saying, cause he really be on some shit, right? And Bill be getting hype, man. And this back in the day, Bill Cooper, he get hype, man. Cause he used to get pissed at the crowd for not really understanding what he was talking about, but he just never really tapped into the African part of it. And there's a couple of his things he tried to make it like like he was on some white power shit. Put it like that. You'll figure it out yourself if you follow him. Somalia and Kenya. Yeah, man. Everything that's connected between holistic hunts, everything that's up near that area, especially with Somalia and all those areas that's close to either Kenya, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Nubia, Egypt. Excuse me. They was all sharing the same information, because you can go into those lands and you'll see those customs I talked about in a video on Egypt. You still see some of those customs today, like from ancient times. You can really go back and look at a lot of the hieroglyphs and depictions, the reliefs that's in Kemet, and you're going to see that same shit, like in Kenya, of course, Libya, what have you, Ethiopia. You see those same cultures in Somalia as well. Those same stuff they was doing in Egypt and those countries. France is where what's that? Hoop Daddy. France is it's one of the holy bloodlines, without getting into all that bullshit. France definitely has a big play in everything. Yeah, one of the holy bloodlines, the same with Rome, same with in England, those so-called royal families. That's deep shit. What's a Kilo? My bad if I butchered your name. Why it took so long? Why it took this long to begin to know what happened to us? It didn't take this long. The information been out for a long time. It's just, we didn't have YouTube back then. We didn't have a platform to put it out. So you got to go back to Dr. Ben and just look at Ivan von Sertova and all those guys back in the 80s that was putting out information. If you guys, I talked about this before. If you guys seen The Last Dragon. Remember, Barry Gordy put out The Last Dragon movie, and Bruce Leroy and karate. Even though a lot of bad shit happened to those people from that cast, it's crazy. But when The Last Dragon came out, remember they were showing them in New York. Everybody was into kung fu. Right around that time is when they was finding the reliefs of in Egypt, the black people doing kung fu. So once people started seeing that, and then that's around the time as well when the in Japan they started sporting the afros and understanding that it was from Africa. So so a lot of time that information is the information that's out now, and a lot of it is stuff from back in the day, but it's just now we have this platform with social media to share it. But it's a lot of people that was trying to tell us this for a long time. First time I went to Egypt, when I went to the Cairo Museum, it was a sister working there who put me onto Dr. Ben. I talked about this in the video as well. And I didn't know about that shit. I'm like, where the hell am I find this book? But she put me on to him, and then, you know, the internet, once it really got bigger, started searching for people. I found books, but I found out, you know, in the 70s and 80s, especially in the 70s, there was a lot of people talking about, you know, this black conscious information and everything like that. And it's one of the reasons why they silenced us with the, you know, I talk about this, the hip hop and crack and all that. But yeah, the information has been out. Yeah, I have 2 videos on voodoo. I have voodoo 1 and 2. So I get into voodoo in those videos of voodoo. You know, a lot of people know about, you know, you call them religions, whatever you want to call them. It's not evil. It's what we used to practice. They just gave us the name as a derogatory name. But it's definitely stuff that, you know, everybody from that area knows all about and knows, you know, what it's for. Talked about the Loa and the Vives, and, you know, you conjuring up energies that's already within you. So that's what voodoo is. I went to Sweden and Germany. Yeah, but Sweden is like everybody know I lived in Sweden for years. So if you go to Sweden, it's a good place to study and learn. You're not going to want to come back. It's a good place to live. It's just, you know, it's a good place to live when you're older. It's a good place to study, but you're not going to want to stay there for too long because shit closes at 7 o'clock. And the tax rate is too damn high, 37%. So it's tough. It's okay if you're going to be a regular worker, but if you own a business, then it's tough to own a business over there when they're taking 37%. So it's something to think about. Germany is awesome as well. Yeah, Bill Donahue was saying, Bill Donahue was awesome. So does Saturn can control time? Yeah, Saturn does control time, but not in the way you would think. I got into that in the Saturn Satan series. That's a deep question. Organic? Oh, Marcus, this is a good question. Hell yeah. So have you researched the concept of organic portals? Soulless humans, of course. And we'll get into that. I mean, that's something to, I'm trying to think, what was that movie? I kind of got into it. Talked about this before, like, you know, the whole Frankenstein thing, and just understanding, like, if you put energy into a body, like, will it animate? So is our soul energy, or are we something different than the energy that's in the walls? So understanding what soulless would be without consciousness, and consciousness is really the soul. It's really everything. Consciousness is putting out the energy, but they have tapped into that. I mean, they're giving you that understanding with the Get Out movie, that they can move this shit. So, like, as I said before, like, you got to think about it. Whoever's running this shit, they've been here. It's the same agenda from ancient times. They've always been here. They are immortals. There's no way around that shit. It's the same agenda. Do the research. So I just put out the Ancient History series. So if you just watch it, I just put it out. It's on YouTube right now. So the Ancient History Rundown. If you just pay attention to as I'm going through history, it's the same thing. It's the same MO. It's the same people. And how could it be when we're talking about hundreds, thousands of years with the same agenda? So yeah, that's deep shit. We'll get into more on that. Dre, what's going on? What's your standing on the NOI? The NOI is run by the Jews. You don't understand by now. Like, you can't just change Islam. That's why they killed Malcolm X. Like, you can't just, like, he went over there. What happened to Malcolm X, his ass went to Egypt. He went over there to that land, and he realized, like, wait a minute, this Islam is not, you know, this Nation of Islam is different from the actual real Islam. And how the hell are we, using this? It's really haram. It's going against the true Islam that we should be following. So when you look at what the NOI is talking about and what they have done over the years, I mean, Farrakhan basically came out and told you he killed Malcolm X. So I mean, just think about that. And I got into that in another video, but yeah, they run by the Jews. Even though he talked against Jews, and they run by the Jews. It's just a lot to get into. Who is that? Yeah, Jews are the scapegoat. Like, not so much the middleman. They just basically the front. You know what I'm saying? So it's the MO. It's what they've been doing for a long time. Remember, they hide behind these people because if they came out and did the shit, then you can point and say it's them right there. You can say who did it and who was the people who did the deed. But if you hide behind the people, because everybody say Jews run the world. Oh, Jews run the world. Remember, I showed you guys the picture, president in the White House, and then he had all those Jews signing when he was signing. I forget what he was signing, but I think it was the Patriot Act. But it was a bunch of Jews behind them. We had the beards and everything like that. Just look at their face. They white dudes with big beards. That's all they are. Hide behind what they call Judaism. They created an entire freaking group of people to hide behind, but it's really, the Greeks, the Romans. Rome still runs everything. Rome is still on top. Rome never fell. I just put that in one of my last videos. David Willock. I don't know which. I think that's somebody else. Jacob, I'm answering your question. What's your thoughts on David Willock? If that's the fat dude, then he's an asshole. I don't like him. What's your thoughts on Jordan? Oh, Jordan Maxwell is the man. But he's a Mason. And Jordan did his job and what he was supposed to do. He was with, he tell you that himself. He bought stitching to America. He paid and financed stitching. And he set out his own mouth. But those are Masons, And I'm not saying, all Masons are bad or what have you. And again, people ask, I'm not a Mason, never was. I'm like way past them in knowledge. But Jordan Maxwell put out so much. We wouldn't know a lot of shit if it weren't for Jordan Maxwell. But he was doing what he was supposed to do, as far as Masonic wise. But definitely watch and listen to Jordan Maxwell. Yeah, Bill was on some white power shit. Both bills, actually. It's just like what they wasn't saying. And sometimes it's all you got to pay attention to is what the person not saying. Like I said, if they're not giving no praise to Africa and what's going on and what happened in Africa and back in the day, Africa, where they stole all the shit they're talking about from, then it's some bullshit. So I don't really pay attention to people that's not talking about Africa and black people and black past, black history, stuff like that. If they're not talking about Africa and this came from Africa and the Africans did this or they stole this from African people, they don't follow that bullshit. That's why I said everybody want to jump into aliens now. They don't want to go back and look at the Egyptians, and those are the fucking aliens right there. Like, we're talking about some tablets and some Anunnaki bullshit, which nobody have no proof on. Meanwhile, sitting in fucking Egypt and the Great Pyramid is a room that they can't get into. And there's something in that fucking room that's emitting a fucking energy signature that they know is there, but they can't get in there. That's some shit you need to research and think about. What the fuck is in there? So then when the fact that Tesla already proved it's wireless energy all over the planet. It's so much real shit to talk about that goes back to Kemet, goes back to Sumer. Like all this Anunnaki new shit, like it's bullshit. Go back to the past. That's why I stay on that. People always say, hey, Merk, you always talking about Egypt, because that's where the information is. Remember, the ancient Egyptians didn't tolerate nobody else shit. They didn't want to know about what you thought because they already knew what was going on. Remember, they was trying to remember the past. They was trying to go back and remember what happened because back then, everything was going down. Remember, we can't build those pyramids today. So we need to find out what that civilization was on versus this new bullshit that it's no proof. If you're going to follow Anunnaki, you might as well follow Jesus. You might as well believe in the Bible. Hey, Seuss, appreciate it. Yeah, Phillies, man. When I watch baseball, I usually have on a baseball jersey. I'm just like I'm a sports nut. People who know me know I'm a sports guy. I'm a Phillies fan. Phillies, Eagles, all that. So I sports bet real heavy. So yeah, if you want me money, I probably got your jersey. Let me see. me see. Yes, the possibilities. Let me see. Oh, that's a good question. See, is it Corrigan? Are Saturn's rings being repaired? That is, you jumping ahead of me on it. We're going to get into that in the next Saturn video. That's deep shit. Steve Coakley was amazing. He put out a lot of good shit. That's right. Nothing new under the sun. Kern. Yeah, I'm thinking the Sixers might get Paul George, but like somebody said before, Embiid can't stay healthy, so it don't really matter. It's like the issue with the Sixers is Embiid being healthy. Can he stay healthy? It's the reason why we got put out by the Knicks, which I wasn't mad about that. I like the Knicks. I'm a big Knicks fan. They deserve to be at that point. It's just a shame that Brunson got hurt. But, excuse me. But it's been a long time for the fucking Knicks. If you're a Knicks fan, you should be happy because the future is looking real good. Sir Alex, I appreciate it. Let me see. Do I believe in aliens? Hell yeah, of course. What they call aliens. No, listen. Again, I say this in a lot of videos. Where we at? Oh shit, I've been here for a minute. I gotta go soon. 284. We should have done way more people than that. So I'll probably do another live stream this week. So let people put this out. Let people know that I did a live stream. So a lot of people missed it. We're talking thousands of people who missed it. So they're going to see this. So the next one I'll put out way ahead of time to give people more time to jump on when I come out, because I did this quick because it's my first time. So yeah. With the aliens thing, what I was about to say is there's no way around that. It's just no way. So anybody, it was laughable back in the day to people who didn't understand physics and science and just the world period. But there's no way around an outside source creating human beings. There's just no way around that. If you study physics and genetics in the human body, we're a creation. The woman was a creation in a lab. She was created to do exactly what she did. And yeah, we're a creation. So they're out there and whatever's going on is going on. So why are they saying Egypt is America? That's a good question. That's the black Hebrews who's saying that. They're saying Egypt is America because they're going off of Deuteronomy 28:68, where it's saying that black people will be taken back to Egypt on ships. And basically saying like when the Jews was taken to Egypt for slavery, that was going to happen. So Egypt being America. So they want to say, oh, that's why the pyramid is on $1 because Egypt is America. They brought us, into Egypt, which is America, on ships to be enslaved or what have you. So America is the new Egypt. It's all bullshit. Don't pay attention to that. So Egypt is in America. So one of the things I did this, I think it's Saturn Satan 4. So Egypt being in America, remember, one, they found pyramids in the Grand Canyon. I put that in Saturn Satan video. I went there myself, as a matter of fact. So video of me there. And you can almost match up the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid behind the Sphinx with the pyramid that's in the Grand Canyon. And it looked like it was a Sphinx there and a pyramid behind them, just like in Egypt. Couple that with the fact that they found Egyptian artifacts there and Egyptian artifacts in Illinois. Yeah, if the Egyptians was in America, not just North America, but South America as well. Was the NBA Finals rigged this year? I don't think so. I mean, it could have possibly been, but I think more people wanted Dallas to win versus, Boston. But Boston is Boston, if you understand the Celtics. Same thing like with Brady and them. It's a Boston thing. That's a whole other story with that. So possibly, But I tell people this: sports is rigged. Period. Now, it's like, so pay attention. Like, everything's changed. They basically changed the laws. One, and now you see the sports books come out the ass right now. So everybody's in bed with the sports books. Excuse me. So you pay attention to this whole Caitlyn shit. Caitlyn Clark, the whole thing with her, all that shit is because now the WNBA they had a contract now with the sports books, just like the NFL. It's a huge conflict of interest. Same thing with the NBA. Everything is about the sports books. It's so much money going through there. I sports bet, so I know. So all that shit is about the sports bet. It's entertainment now. They already know. They can care less who wins, or they don't care about that no more. It's about the money. You can't leave that much money up to chance. So with some rigging, here and there, what have you, but a lot of it you can kind of sort of figure out. Like, you can look at it and see what's going on. But they change it up sometimes. So what I tell people is bet accordingly. Don't put your heart and soul into no team. I know I got on the Phillies and all this and that, but this shit is all rigged. It's all fucking rigged, and it's just like you gonna guess right or guess wrong. Don't mean you can't support your team, your home team, or what have you. But it's just, don't put too much heart and money into the whole thing when it's rigged. Pay attention. You can almost kind of see the trends here and there. Like, you kind of get a feeling sometime, like, oh, this team was not going to win because of this reason. So yeah, it could have possibly been rigged. I'm leaning more towards yes, just because it's Boston. Hold on one second. Let's max my Twilight. Oh yeah, Caitlyn Clark tickets. I know, it's crazy. And so when she came here, the tickets was like, I think the cheapest ticket was like $1,200 here in Vegas. So yeah, they pushing her, like they pushing her, and I don't know if she know what's going on, but it's not so much. They do the race baiting shit, black, white, what have you, but it's really because they want the face of the WNBA to be a white face, because that's going to because demographics show, and I talked about this in the video. Demographics show that more white people place bets. They sports bet more than anybody else. So if it's like, they're trying to get more people into the sports betting on the WNBA side, which is happening, I know, because I've been placing bets myself. And that's all it is. And they want that face to look like them. So that's her face. Don't get me wrong, Caitlyn, she can ball. She got skills. But it's just like, come on. Like, it's been like 4 or 5 of her already before she came into the league. Why didn't we have all this the hype that she's getting? Why didn't we have all this hype with Rebecca Lobo and all those other ballers back in the day? So many white women ballers that's better than her that they could have put this hype onto, but they didn't, because guess what? Sports betting was legal then. Now that everything's shifted and they have these deals with the sports books, this is what that shit is all about. So yeah, it's all corrupt. Thoughts on Soul Trap? I talked about that in I forget what video that was. Soul Trap is definitely real, but it's ways around that. Something bad is going to happen to Bronny James. Let me see. They've already painted. See if I'm having heart problems. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that's a whole another thing right there. Somebody else put me on to that. Well, QA29. Good question. Chaos, numerology, and life past legitimate. It is, but not for like life or death, but for certain things that's happening, big major moments in your life. Birth chart, the natal chart is important. There is a mathematical way to calculate certain things with the body and with your path in life. If you're on a certain path, that's deep, but you have to be on. There's paths to walk, and you have to be on certain paths to make those numbers calculate. The problem with that is, it's one of those situations where it's no way you can be if you live in America. It's no way you can be. It's almost like a spiritual path, or you can't walk those paths and to be able to calculate those things the way the society is set up. So, like, to make that shit make sense, you can't in this society, and it's a lot to that. But numerology is definitely something you want to know about. I don't really get into it that much because it's really confusing, which is why I never put out a big video on it, because for it to work and for you to use it correctly, you can't be in America. You can't be in this country. It's not going to work because you can't see your path forward here because it's too many variables, too much shit that can happen. Like it's weird. Jonathan, I appreciate it. Let me see. The Great Awakening. Oh, that's going to happen, but when that happens, it's going to be too late. Yeah, right. Just let them girls play ball. Like those, it's so much talent in the WNBA. And excuse me, Shaq was right. Shaq said if they just lower the rim, 2 inches, so these girls can dunk like the men can dunk, a lot more people will come to the games, which I think they would. They need to do that. Just lower the rim a little bit more, let those girls hoop, and let them dunk all over each other. I would love to see girls dunking all crazy like the men do. Just need to lower the rim 2 more inches, and they can do that. Yeah, it's a new Matrix movie coming out supposedly, so I'm definitely gonna get into that. The last one is like so nuts, so I can't really get into that until the next one because it'll make sense in the next one. Let me see. Yeah, America is molded after Rome. No way around that. We got Capitol Hill. They have Capitol on Hill. Yes. Kielo, yeah, what a time to be alive. It's going to get nuts. But it's all going to work out in the end, not to spoil it. It's going to work out eventually. It's going to be a lot of shit until then. Let me see, yeah, pyramids. Yes, all continents have pyramids. They are everywhere. And I've been to a lot of the places to where they are, but it's just, there are pyramids all over the world because as I talked about before with the negative ions, and somebody asked me to talk about negative ions briefly, real quick. But the negative ions, like when you read in the Bible, people was living hundreds of years old. And again, as I said, you go to Egypt, which I've been there and I've looked, you're not going to find a elderly or old relief of an Egyptian. You're not going to find it. So as they talk about, and then as you talk about in the Bible, people living hundreds of years. And under a negative ionosphere, the viruses and the problems we have with the body would be fine. We wouldn't, no viruses and all these issues. The stuff that they doing to us, it would die. The stuff they put in the food, that stuff couldn't survive under a negative ionosphere. So we would age very slowly, just like trees do. Trees produce their own negative ions, which is why trees have been around for thousands of years, because under that atmosphere of their own, they live a long time, which we would as well. But yeah, Jacob, Alex, I remember him back in the day. Yeah, no eyeglasses, ding. They had no eyeglasses. You don't see no fat Egyptians. A lot of the problems that we have, you just don't see back then. Yeah, Emmanuel Velikovsky. Yeah, I did. I think I touched on some of his work in one of my videos. The Saturn myth is amazing. Let me see. What the new world will be like. Yeah, human ability was amazing. They kind of dumbed us down now. You go back and look like, let me see. Am I taking a shit right now? No, I'm sitting in a chair right now. I'm not on the toilet. Bernard. Regeneration. What was I about to say? Somebody was asking me a good question. Trying to move cyberspace. C. Corrigan, yeah, that is a good question. Are they at least trying to move into cyberspace? Oh yeah, that's deep. I'm gonna touch it because, like, I mean, you got to think about it. There's really kind of sort of no such thing. You're like, I mean, what is the internet exactly? And I talked about in the what was this video I just put out? How Saturn frequency. Yeah, I talked about this in frequency, the new frequency video, frequency and vibration part 3 about Saturn being the internet. So that's something I touched on in there, and you got to understand what that's about. So that's a lot to get into. Yeah, this is my we call BS News podcast. Real shit. No, this is my first podcast. So it's the first time I ever did one, and I just wanted to do one to really talk to the supporters, the real supporters who been sending me a lot of emails who didn't get the emails I sent out. A lot of people didn't get the information. Like I'm not just going to tell you. I'm not just going to leave out important shit that's pertaining to you guys when it comes to anything having to do with business. So I send out emails to everybody. We send out emails to everybody. A lot of people just didn't get them. It probably landed in your spam, accidentally deleted them or what have you. But a lot of people who've been following for a long time, once I got back into my emails, because I lost, it got cut off for a while. So I wanted to put it out because I can't email every single body the same thing. It's just, they're not getting them. So I wanted to do a live and let people know what happened with books, and that books will be coming back once the lawsuit thing is done. And we're going to what is that the book that I can put out that's going to be going out, that's still going out, is the Perverse Psychology book. So that's fine. That book is good. Let me see. Most important book I read is the Bible. The Bible is the most important book. Like, don't make no mistake. The Bible is the most important book, period. So you'd be hard pressed to find one that's more important than that. They put everything in that book. When you know that book and you start doing your research, everything is going to start breaking down. The Bible is hands down the best book. And not on some Christian shit, of course. I know you guys know I'm not Christian. It's just, as I said, you go into any Masonic lodge, you're going to find a Bible, a Torah, a Quran on a Masonic altar. Best place to hide something is in plain sight. And they hit the bulk of the knowledge is in the Bible, period. King James Version, must read. So Rome created, this is a D, Rome created Islam out of Mohammedanism. And why? And I got into that with the Islam videos. You gotta, that goes back to real history, as I talked about with the wars. So, fucking Arabs, like, excuse me. So just think about breeding a pit bull, right? So you breed this pit bull, and this pit bull is going out fighting and winning all these fights for you. Then all of a sudden, this pit bull gets smart and start bringing other pit bulls to his squad, and they come against you. So now it's like, hey, you've been using us to do all your dirty work. We want this now. That's Islam. Real shit. That's Islam. Because they was hiding behind the Arabs to do their dirty work. Remember, you had the first slave trade that's big and on record. It would be sub-Saharan. And it was using the Arabs to do that. But that was really the Greeks and the Romans who was, perpetrating that whole thing. Remember, the Pope came out and apologized for Rome's role in slavery. But they was using the Arabs to do that. So in Spain, when they basically took all that shit from the Moors, so they had to give them something. And one, Egyptian land was part of it because they didn't want us being there, and they couldn't be there. So the whole myth of the Arab invasion was real, but the invasion was planned. It was just for them to get us out of that space, which is why the Arabs occupy Egypt today. And Islam was created to give them something to rally behind. But before that, most Arabs were Jews. They was following Judaism and Christianity. That's what we have with the Syriac, the Peshitta. You go to Syria, that's what they're Arabs mixed with Greeks, So that's what they was following before. So the whole Mohammedanism, how you want to pronounce it, the whole Islamic religion was, when you go back and look at their ancient past, what they was studying was, I talked about the worship of Hubble, the moon worship, all that shit was moon worship or what have you. And they just, like they did with the sun, parlayed the sun into Christianity. They parlayed Islam, with the moon. So, that's all it is. When you look at it, it all goes back to Saturn, all goes back to you know, them using them to control what's going on. And they ain't done with them yet. You see what's happening now. So what's going on with Palestine and Israel, all that shit is a part of it, all still run by Rome. What is your thoughts on young Pharaoh and General Seti? I got no problem with those guys. Like, you know, it's Seti is like mercenary. This dude is like so what they would call like militant. And he for his people. He for black people. Like a lot of dudes passionate about this information. And you know, I talked to I think Pharaoh a couple times on Twitter, but I don't got nothing negative to say about those guys. Those guys are awesome. I just don't, you know, I don't bang with everybody as far as like information wise. Like, I can't say that everybody is, you know, agents or disinformation, you know, by the content they put out. You gotta look at how they move. It's just some people believe in what they believe in. They think that information is the truth. So, like, it is what it is. It's up to us to figure it out for ourselves by doing our own research. So, yeah. Are Merkabah's dragons? Kind of, sort of. Merkabah is your soul. It's a spiritual vehicle. So you get it. It's serpentine energy. You understand something. Dragon energy. That's something a little deep right there for people who don't know. Let me see. Move cyberspace. A lot of questions. Bear with me. If they vote Joe Biden, is no way he's going to be president. If they vote Joe Biden back in the White House, that would be stupid. It don't even matter anyway. It's already picked, you know, if they do something with Trump, which it looks like that's what's going to happen, then it's Trump. I don't see anybody past that unless they have something else. Who knows? They always got some shit up their sleeve, so I doubt it's going to be Biden, though. The dude can't take 6 steps without falling. Yeah, I mean, people ask about the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom. You can tell by that. I'm not on the toilet, though. See, it's a chair behind me. My bathroom's huge. What's in Antarctica? That's a good question. So I talked about that with Admiral Byrd. He found a landmass that's the size of America in the interior of Antarctica. So I would say a bunch of land and people and who knows what. They got together and said, we're not ever going back there again. Think about that. That's just weird as shit to me. We can't come together on that. But all of a sudden, these superpowers got together and said, we're not going to go into the interior of Antarctica. Nobody can go there. It's the ice wall. What's beyond that? Who knows? The fact that there is a beyond that just changes your whole theory on the map, period. So that's deep. Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's what, 277 people? I got 199 likes. I'm cool with that. I'm not here for likes. But I appreciate the likes and everybody. People who donated, people who buying the stuff, I appreciate it. Like, just, like I said, get the Never Pay Again membership. It's going to go back up tomorrow. It's the last day for it, so get it. Price is definitely going to go up. It's worth more than $59. Like, come on. Yeah, but, you know, you got to look at it. Like, it don't make sense for Biden to be reelected. The dude, like, come on. It's just so much that we can look at with Biden and say, like, this dude needs to step down. Health-wise, one. If you watch the debate, this dude just mumbled a bunch of shit out. Even Trump pointed that out. He's not physically fit to be president for another 4 years. He shouldn't be. It does, like I said, none of that shit matters anyway. Don't get into politics. It's already decided. So whatever going to happen with that, going to happen. You just got to be prepared with that financially because of what's going to happen with, you know, currency or what have you. Yes. Do you think Saturn has a negative influence on the planet? Of course it does. Saturn has a huge negative and positive influence on the planet. No, the Bible is not real. The Bible is not real in terms of the stories and stuff that's in the book. But it's a good question because, like, you know, we've been taught that it is real. It's not real. It's, you know, parabolized allegorical stories that's trying to tell you about something else. And when you get into it at its heart, it's pointing you back to ancient Egypt and to the ancient world. It's where you need to go and look to break down what's in that book. And among other things, physics, science, genetics, it's all in there. How should the Bible, what is this, chaos? How should the Bible be read to obtain the most knowledge? Ask a Mason. So I talked about this in, what video was that? The video on the Bibles I just put out. So the Masonic square and compass. Remember, when you see that, they're always showing it to you on the Bible. So when you go on the altar, that's how they read it. They read it using longitude, latitude, using angles. Because notice how the book is written. So think about this. You go back to all the manuscripts, right? So the earliest manuscripts, they're all written in scripto continua. I talked about this. They are unseals. Uppercase letters is how they was written, to continue. So that way it's no gaps, nobody can do anything with it. But see, we get the King James Version, which was given to us by Masons. You use the Masonic square and compass to read it correctly. So I don't got my Masonic Bible here, but in the Masonic Bible, you see it lines up differently because how they read it is based upon degrees. They use the square and the compass to do that and read it a certain way. That's the best way to read it, but you're not going to know that unless you're a Mason or you know how to read it in that way. Which I said in the video is not my place to say, which I won't say because that's just some shit I won't touch on. Like I said, there are rules. I never claimed to be, and somebody said this to me. Somebody was like, what they say? Some shit about, oh, don't listen to me because I can't get myself out of a situation. Some shit to that effect. But I've never claimed to be more powerful than the powers that be. I'm not. I've always said there are rules, and you got to follow those rules. The people who don't follow the rules, you see what happens to them. There's ways you have to do things. My situation and what's going on with me is just, it's just tax shit. It's just like tax situations, people being greedy. I'm not going to say the whole Illuminati is coming down on me, or else I wouldn't be here this long if that was the case. You get fucked with, people mess with you or what have you. But, it's rules, and I've been really good at staying within those rules as far as putting out information, the stuff they want you to do. It's stuff that you got to do. But as far as like, the way you do certain things as far as these societies, I mean, they would think you're in. You know what I'm saying? If I was to come on here with fucking square and compass and start breaking down the Bible the Masonic way, everybody, oh, he's a Mason. How else would you know that? I got Masonic friends. I've been studying this stuff for a long time, Freemasonry. So it's like, if I start doing that, it get looked at in a bad way. That's a quick way to create a lot of enemies, and I won't go that route. Hey, good morning from Israel. Somebody from Israel in the house. What's going on over there in Israel? Hopefully you in a safe place. On the beach in Tel Aviv, hopefully. Not in Sharm Sheikh. Perfect keepers. Saturn. I don't know. That's a good question. The farm spot on Jupiter. They said that was from a big planet-sized meteor that hit that spot. We don't know. 4019, thank you. So Steer, appreciate it. That 200th like, we're at 226. I appreciate it. Let me see. Marcus, powers that be, probably immortals. The powers that be are probably. Yeah, Marcus, you into some deep stuff with that question, but you got to look at it on life as we know it as this physical way, right? This physical sense. So, like we talking about AI, digital, internet, everything like that. That's more spiritual, because remember, stuff is modeled after the brain. We're energy, right? So, think about two worlds, two separate existences. One has the energetic form and everything that entails. We don't know. We can't comprehend it except for the dream world, which, as I said, the dream world is the real actual existence. And it's just your subconscious, which is God, suppresses that for many different reasons. I'm going to get into all that here. So those beings which created us are operating in that realm, and it's not hard for them to come into the physical back and forth. Like the Egyptians talked about doing this shit all the time, coming back and forth. They could come back and forth. And then something happened where it seems as if, I'll talk about this in a lot of videos, where it seems as if they got like a cue from the higher up to go. Remember, when I went to Egypt, I paid $1,000. I paid $1,000 to go into the temple of Osiris for one reason. The reason was to see what the hell it was saying. And I told you guys what it was saying. It's telling them to not come back here. It's saying go to the Andromeda star system, go to Sirius star system. Don't come back here. And remember, they were being buried the same way for hundreds of years. Then all of a sudden, when that happened, they changed the way they was being buried, and we get the Valley of the Kings. A lot of people think they did that because of the Tomb Raiders. No, they did that because things changed. Because if that was the case, then would be the Valley of the King tombs will look the same as the tombs that we found in the burial graves, ceremonial graves, the one that they planned before they died. The Valley of the Kings is completely different. They were buried in a way that says we're not coming back. Whereas, remember, you look at the other tombs, like look at Tut's tomb. You go in there and everything is different. You got his life on the wall. Everything is in a way that's saying I'm going to come back. Whereas the Valley of the Kings is like, we're getting the fuck out of here. We're not coming back because white people getting ready to do some different shit. Y'all need to understand what's going on. So, yeah. So, as far as the powers that be being AIs or what have you and everything like that, this is a whole different level with that. Yes, Phillies just won. Yeah, skin of their fucking teeth. So we lost yesterday. So yeah, I was kind of pissed, but they won me a couple dollars today. Bryce Harper is hurt and Schwarber is hurt. So they're on a 10-day DL. So we're lucky to pull that one out. Eli, if I got an email from you, I'm pretty sure I got your update on your address. But make sure you shoot me an email with your updated address, and you'll be cool. Will this be available for replay? Yeah, I will replay this. I'll post this back up because there's a lot of people. I mean, we only had 286 people. Like that's super low for 107,000 subscribers, and not even just that because like. People been subscribed for. People, they change their interest. But I get like 500 emails, 2,000 emails a week. So I know it's a lot of people. Like my emails is ridiculous. Timothy Walker, I appreciate it. Appreciate the stars. You do sports bets for free. That's dope. Let me see. Oh, Library of Alexandria. I touched on that. It existed. We know that. It was burnt to the ground, but it was burnt to the ground. But everything that was in there was probably taken out. It's probably in the Vatican vaults, or not, because if you know the information and you're passing it down in secret societies, and it's too important to let it get into other people's hands, they could have burnt it all because they got the knowledge already. So. The 432 hertz, yeah, listen to it. The chip has already happened. Like they don't gotta put a chip in our hand. Like, Mark of the Beast, a mark is money. But they don't gotta put a chip in our hand. Some people will want that, but they don't got to because you got an iris. Remember, your iris and your fingerprint is unique, and that can be linked digitally. So last time when I was in Japan years ago, they had it already. And they have it now to where you can walk into a supermarket and buy everything with just your eye scan. I talked about this in the video. I showed you the movie Minority Report with Tom Cruise. That's how it was. They could just scan your eyes, and stuff just can scan your eyes without you even knowing it. And that's the future right there. They don't got to put a mark in our hand because they know nobody's going to accept that. So, yeah. Raymond Avant, appreciate you for purchasing Merkabah catalog or Never Pay Again membership. So, grab it. You guys, it's gonna go up tomorrow. Let me see. Yeah, who was that? Who said that? 164. Yeah, if Kamala end up being the president, cool. Who is this? Killen Taylor, whoever your name is. Delete my channel for what? Why would I do that? If you're a Christian, you shouldn't even be here. Delete your channel. Yeah, I know. Still, Steven, sit on that stop. Trust me. Keith, what books do I read? I read a lot of the older books. The older, the better. If you find anything that's written before the internet was created, then that's good. So I read a lot of old books. A lot of the older scholars. I always talk about Dr. Ben, Ivan von Sertova, R.A. Swallow de Lubix, Gerald Massey. These are like books that's going to get into like African, Egyptian stuff. But, it's a lot of European books. And I like to go to some of the, especially Cambridge, a lot of the older universities from Europe and look at their libraries and the books they put out like back in the day. Good books to read. Go Phillies. CJ47A, I like the Dodgers. I went to a lot of Dodgers games when I went to USC. Let me see. What's on remote viewing? Let's see. Somebody else had a question I wanted to say. Yeah, there's Latin on a dollar bill, no English. Except for in God we trust. We all got a lot of stuff in our ancestry. The people who follow that, make sure you be careful about. There's a lot of scammers out there with the ancestry. I recommend going to two or three different companies. So just like that person was banned from my channel, saying delete my channel. Like, come on. People, like, if, for the most part, this has been a respectable conversation. A lot of people asking some banging questions here. But if you a Christian and you come on here, like, what are you doing here? Like, come on, don't come on here posting a bunch of bullshit. I'm just going to delete it and ban you. That's what's going to happen. So if you got a fucking disrespectful question to ask, just shoot me an email. We can go back and forth through email. Come on here talking shit for what? There's no point in that. You're just going to get blocked. Yeah, Bobby Hemmett is amazing. Definitely listen to Bobby Hemmett. Like I said, I don't agree with everybody's shit, but Bobby Hemmett got some fire. Pop Smoke veteran, appreciate it. Good to be back. Yeah, if you did 2 DNA tests, that's good. Go to multiple companies because they come back with the same shit. You know, you're right. Did the Egyptians use voodoo? Jack South. Yeah, but what's it called voodoo? Let me see. So that's a good question. A lot of people asked me this question before, like when you die, what happens? There's no way I can know that. I can only speculate what happens. And I talked about this in a couple of videos. Like when you die, what happens? It's like the same when you wake up from a dream. It's just like almost it's the reverse because like as I talked about, when you're in the dream world and you sleep, you don't know that in reality you're in the bed, sleep. Like you don't realize that you're actually in the bed when you're dreaming. You just in a dream and you think the dream is real. And what's happening in the dream, you think it's real and you're following it and everything is going on. The next thing you know, you wake up, right? But when you wake up, everything comes flooding back to your physical body. Like that dream stuff you was just dreaming about is gone. It's a dream. But when you wake up, everything comes rushing back as far as reality, what we call reality, and the physical. Oh, I gotta be to work. I gotta go to the bathroom. A lot of you, it's probably happened to you. I know it happened to me. It used to happen to me a lot back in the day. Like if I had to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night when I was asleep, something in the dream had happened. Like, fucking tsunami coming down the street, and then I'm like trapped. I'm not going to make it, and then I'll wake up. And when I wake up, I realize I gotta go to the bathroom super bad. That's so powerful when you really examine that. That consciousness is amazing. So at death, I would imagine it would be the same thing. When you wake up or when you die, you will come into that, like the Bible say, behold, I'm a new being and all this and that. Well, yeah, it would be basically something like that where you would know that knowledge of who you really are, the energy would come back as far as, to me, I think we all came into agreement to do this. So when you die, when you pass, I think that knowledge of what's really going on comes, you get that, not in the body, of course, your body is gone, but you understand, basically, you know what's going on. Now, we have this whole thing now where, we got to pay attention to, I talked about the archons and this whole wheel of reincarnation, escaping that, because it's like, hey, these people is controlling whether you can leave or not. So it's like, not to get too deep into it, it's like, okay, well, if this soul is on this level, which is knowledge, the gnosis, Gnosticism, I talked about this, then it's allowed to move forward because it's not taking with them a bunch of bullshit. It's ready to move on. It's prepared. You had enough experiences, if you understand. But that's a lot. Net B, good question. Yeah, Dr. Clark, Malcolm X. Malcolm X put out a lot of good audio. Keith Baker, no, I'm not in no kind of fraternity or anything like that. No, I don't bang with that. You see, I'm always on my solo. If I was, I would probably be, doing shit with a bunch of other people that was in that faction. But no, um, I know a lot of people that's in fraternal orders and Masons and Shriners, what have you. And a lot of people get in for knowledge reasons, and they think that's the way they're gonna get some type of power, what have you, some type of insight, which you do to a point, but it's shit you can figure out yourself. Like you don't need to go through them. Same thing with me. People don't gotta follow me. You guys don't gotta follow me. You guys are smart. You can go through the same shit I've been doing, the research, what have you. Like I've been all over the world. That's the difference. I've been to these places that some of these people only talk about. I've been there. I've crawled inside the pyramids and multiple pyramids, what have you. Been to Israel, been to all these places. So it's a little bit different, but it's like anybody can get this information. You don't need no degree or none of that bullshit. No, you don't need to sacrifice for becoming a Mason. You are the sacrifice. So you'll find that out and you go through initiation. That's the whole part of going into the casket and all that. I'm not getting into all that shit, but that's what happens. A country people should visit if they could. Any country in Africa. Go to Sweden. You guys will love Sweden, man. They love black people over there. Ronald Pagan, does America fall? Yes. And it's just going to be up to the people how it falls. And it's going to fall. There's no way around that. This shit is all coming down. They're preparing for it. But it's just going to be up to the people how it falls. Is it going to be violent, crazy thing? Or is it going to be the people going to come to policy senses? Because when this fucking war is done, crazy shit is going to happen. And it's going to cause rational minds. Remember, this is the plan. It's all set up from the jump. But everybody's going to look at it. One, the American people is going to beg for the outcome. That's how they do it. But everybody's going to look at it and be like, you know what? The best way to do things is this way. Because how you know, like, if you don't believe in nothing I say, how you know this is going to happen is just the currency. The fact that the dollar is the world reserve currency and it's a problem. Look at the fucking problems we have because of this dollar. It makes more sense to get rid of it. And okay, if we get rid of it, what's going to take its place? And if it takes its place, whatever takes its place, are they going to do the same thing as the Americans as far as what we're doing with the dollar? You know, inflation and all these, derivatives, these problems. So can we trust this new world reserve currency? No. The only way we can trust it is if it's something that everybody's participating in, which should be a one world digital currency, a one world government. It's the only thing that makes sense. Plain and simple. So we know that's coming. Everybody astral travel before. We all astral travel. Yes. So steer, you are judged by your heart energy to the universe. That's what the Egyptians talked about as well. Alchemy is everywhere. They're using alchemy against us every single day. It's not just the whole process of turning base metals into gold. It's a lot more deeper shit into alchemy. It's a lot of old ancient alchemy books, one of which I just had a fucking opportunity to buy, but it was just too much out of my price range. I wish I could have got it. It went on the price, it was 17 grand. But it's fucking amazing ancient alchemy book. I wish I could have got my hands on it, but it's a lot more alchemy than just turning base metals into gold. Keith Baker, yeah, that's a good book. Yeah, like the space thing is just so trippy. And I talked about that, and I forget what DVD that was on Planets, whatever. I got so many videos. Excuse me. But you can't ignore the symbolism they've been giving us over the years as far as the space is water thing. And just like the Bible with the firmament, waters above, waters below. The pictures I showed you guys from Kemet, excuse me, with the Temple of Dendera, Temple of Hathor in Dendera, where on the ceiling it's water and he's showing you the astral boats and them traveling the space in boats, the metaphorical. So, I mean, the space water thing is something you just can't get around. We don't know what the fuck is out there. Like, we don't know. There's no way we're going to know. They're not going to tell us any truth, but it's too much to point to that versus it's just being this big void out there. And we don't know if it's water then a void. We don't know. We're never going to know. It's a question to ponder, but when you look at the symbolism and the information that's out there, it's something we can't ignore as far as that. The spark of life is your soul. But I mean, a spark is something that happens. A spark is like a spark. You know what I'm saying? So if something created that spark, but really that's, for us, the soul has always been. Energy has always been there. But it's just like, it's a spark when they're using it as a metaphor as far as like sparking your body or jumping your body or putting it into your body. Deep shit, I know. Let me see. Remember anything before life? No, and that's the thing. You don't remember anything before life, and that's the thing. Like kids can't talk, babies can't talk when they come here. They can't tell you what just happened to them. I mean, think about that. Like, what was it like in that womb? They can't communicate that to you, or what was before that. This kid is born, can't talk, and then by the time they can talk, knowledge is gone. It's programmed that way. It's programmed to be like that. My favorite color is black. It just is. Not because I'm black, it's just black. Wear a lot of black. Yeah, dreams be like that. And it's just the consciousness. Like, you'll be thinking about some shit and it'll pop up. It's just how it goes. Do I have any opinion on the Jakob theory? I was digging into that a while ago, but no, not at the moment. If, we'll get into that. That's a good question, though. Would I say El Olmec? Would I say the ancient first women were stronger than men? No, I would say no because then they wouldn't be no need for us, and the testosterone gives us more strength. You see how much we're way more stronger than women. It's talking about as far as physical. They're the spiritual, mental, but we're brute men, and we don't know what happened for them to start secreting testosterone to start giving birth to men. But it seemed like it was a need for them to do something where they would require strength. And then when you put that together, you got to think about, I was just talking about with dragons in the last video. I mean, if you're gonna, if you're gonna have a need to get rid of these dragons, you got to think about it. Remember, I talked about how the women had this connection with the dragons. This is what Maria Gambudis found. The woman had this connection to these serpentine dragons. Whenever you see anything with a dragon, you always find a woman. Even the apple, the serpent dragon, that's a woman. Same thing, the Queen's Chamber connecting with Draco, a woman. The Garden of Hesperides, the apples of immortality, those were women around there, were Hercules. So it's always women. So she found out there was this connection. They had the connection with the dragons. So if you think about it, if you have a plan, if you want to get rid of these dragons, you're going to need somebody that's stronger that can do it. So poof, you start getting these males being produced, then all of a sudden dragons start being wiped out, and it's always the men that's wiping out these dragons. And remember how the dragons is always kidnapping a woman, the princess, and taking her into the tower and all the dragon lore. Always going for the woman, and the man at night has to save her. So yeah, that's deep stuff to really get into all that. Am I a warlock? No. Where we at? 314. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, so a lot of people got into the Pleiades and what is this? Hoop Daddy 7. The Pleiades and star seeds. The star seeds one. I mean, it's another thing to really get into that because I mean we're really all star seeds when you think about it. But is it going to be seeds that's going to come along? Well, yeah, it's going to be star seeds that's going to come along. It's going to be different. We can change. So that's what I was just talking about before when I was talking about how we look at our DNA and how it's set for change at some point in time. And we see a lot of movies on this. And, it's the whole Messiah theory about Jesus coming back and Neo and the Matrix. That one. Because it's going to be a one. It's going to be the first person that do it. It's going to be that one person, that birth, whatever is going to happen, whenever it happens, where somebody's going to be born, it's going to be completely different and it's going to change the world. We don't know when it's going to happen. But there's no way around that that's going to happen because our DNA is written that way. But it's going to happen to somebody first, or it's going to happen to somebody first and we're not going to know about it, but it's going to happen to somebody that's going to be made public. So that would be a star seed. It would be completely different from what we are. Power. I would think Kern Rodriguez, what's going on? I would think they wouldn't come back because they knew what was getting ready to happen with the Europeans. That was like, I mean, you got to look at it. So it's almost not even a theory. They left, right? Ancient Egypt is conquered, it's gone. They put in for them not to come back. They didn't come back. Everything has changed. It's different. It's as if they knew this was going to happen, and they didn't want nobody to be here for it, but they left the information that they left for us for whatever reason. But that's what it looks like. So it left because there's no point in them being there. Their time was up, as I talked about in I think the Saturn Satan series. They knew. So like if you think about consciousness needs experience to grow and expand, right? You need to perceive new and different things. They wasn't doing that back then. Remember, the Egyptians wasn't tolerant of anything else, only the past. So it was like, we're not growing because of this. We can't grow in consciousness because you guys are stuck in the past. We need somebody to take us forward. So then you have this mutation and everything. You have the white person being created. You have the destruction and everything that happened. And then look at, everything is completely different now. But their time is up. And 200 years from now, you're going to be hard pressed to find a white person. Everybody's going to be mixed. And you have dark-skinned people, you're going to have mixed people. This is what they're pushing for, but there's a lot more to that. Oh, who else? Pop Smoke, appreciate it. Yeah, I talked about Billy Carson earlier, and Billy Carson is getting that money. So, enough said. Of course, white people have souls. They're us. It's just a mutation of us, that's all. Astros own the Phillies. Yeah, they got us. I wasn't mad because Dusty got a ring. So when they beat us in the World Series, I wasn't mad because Dusty deserved that ring. That's why I was happy for the Astros and that. I like the Astros, even though y'all suck this year. Let me see. Yeah, if you guys, a lot of people ask you about the new X-Men. Was it X-Men 97 or something like that, or 98? But yeah, I mean, X-Men, you just pay attention. They're giving you us or what's going on. Malcolm X being Magneto, Dr. King being Professor Xavier, and the whole thing, the difference, the mutants and the regular people. It's just a play on what happened with us, that's all. Let's see. DL, yeah, that's a good concept. Because they're going to fight when all this go down. Aliens don't gotta walk around with skin suits on. They don't have to do that. Like if you gotta think about being at that level, you don't gotta put on a skin suit to come down here or what have you. You don't need to do that when you can transform through energy and moving out of different bodies or what have you. So I mean, like this is the skin suit. We are the soul. This is the vehicle. We are in skin suits now. Now the powers that be want us out of here quick. Conscious Ra. The time is up. Net B, why are we being pushed to mixed race? Because in 200 years from now, it's going to be hard for white people to survive on this planet. The sun is intensifying every single day, and the number one killer of white people is melanoma. They're dying off quick. They got to come back into melanin, and that's just what it is. How can we purchase Never Pay Again membership? Sell us on Merkabah Academy site. So the link for Never Pay Again is in the description. So look in the description. The link to all that is there. As I said, Never Pay Again membership is ending today, so make sure you guys grab it. I think only two people grab it since we've been on there. So I appreciate the 2 people that did grab it. Appreciate it. Let me see the world disaster, global climate change. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Let me see. Just yeah, I saw The Watchers. Good movie. What will happen to the people who got the jab, depending on what jab you got? If you got the placebo or if you got the actual bad stuff. So people been dropping like flies. It's affecting people in different ways. So we'll see. So what has it been? When I hit that 6-year mark, which is coming up, that's when there's going to be a lot of problems. Let's see. Yeah, in the description for people who want to grab MPA membership. If you're MPA, remember the site is being updated right now. So if you got an issue with MPA, the site's being updated. That's why it looks the way it looks right now. It's being updated, new stuff coming to the site. If you have an issue with getting, you already paid for it and you can't get the membership, just send me an email so I can update your plan. Because what probably happened is you didn't get the email when it went out to upgrade your plan. You had to do something. But all you got to do is just shoot an email and say, can you upgrade my account, and it'll be upgraded. Because we can find you. I can tell whether you're NPA or not. Yeah, the NPA member section is only malfunctioning D because we upgrading it. It's going to be different because since as another thing I want to talk about with Podia, they changed their plan as far as us being able to give unlimited downloads to whenever we want. It's only limited to 100 now. So because of that, I got to put a new platform together so people can get those videos, which I think I figured out a workaround that. So that's what we're doing now with the site. But it'll be back. Let's give it a couple more days. Jeremy Austin, what up? Paolo, what's going on, dog? Chaos, carnivore diet, don't do it. So, I talked about this before, capacity of meat. Like you got a lot of people, I get in this argument all the time with people that are vegan and say, oh, we're not supposed to eat meat and meat is not good for us, this and that. You got to remember, we didn't start having problems with meat until the government took over the meat supplies. Before that, we wasn't getting all these issues with cancer and everything like that. We started getting these problems because the government took over the meat supplies. We are the only country on the planet that allowed the government to mess with the food supply. No other country allows that. You go over there in Europe, they don't allow that. You can't put poison in the food over there. They'll kill you. They'll burn the place to the ground. We're the only country that allowed the government to basically step in into our meat manufacturing plants and our food, our production plants, because they own them all. And that's the issue. So like I said, when I was in Sweden, I ate all the meat that I wanted and gained a pound. Come here, the meat is killing people. So I recommend not eating that much meat, only eat a little bit because, it'll kill you. It's not really good for you. Hey, Max. So the deal with ritual sacrifice during ancient times, I talked about this too. It was because, as I said, those ancient civilizations talked about beings from up there. And those beings was in a spiritual form, energetic form. And that was the only way you could communicate with them. So at some point, they stopped coming here. And that's what all the civilizations talk about. Them desperately trying to get into contact with these beings. If you can't understand apocalypto, because, the language or what have you, but it's kind of what they sort of getting into. But that concept, at least. But the sacrifices was because, one, we need somebody to go and speak to these people and ask them what we're supposed to do next, what's going on. The only way you can speak to them is if you're dead, energetic form. It's the only way to get out of here is in that energetic body. So you would sacrifice them to go basically send a message. Ain't nothing wrong with pork. Ain't nothing wrong with chicken. Like, just depends on where you get it from. It's clean. The whole issue with pork goes back during ancient times when they was trying to eat pork like they was eating beef. So you had people trying to eat medium rare pork. That should have killed you, and that's where the whole shit comes from. Yeah, Asia has really good food quality. I was in Thailand. They ate so much pork and so much meat, and those women are skinny as hell. And I promise you, 2 Thai women will eat 6 niggas under the table any day. They eat so much food, especially spicy food. They can eat a lot. They don't gain a pound. They don't get sick. Think about that. I would never go on Joe Rogan and none of those shows. I wouldn't do it. Man, I've been getting offers from so many people for years now to come talk. I'm not that dude. I'm not doing all that because then you put yourself in that circuit. And when you put yourself in that circuit out there, you can be touched and they mess with you. The money comes into play and you start taking money, then there's a whole lot of issues. Do you see our friends and relatives when we die? You are your friends and relatives. Long story. But yeah, basically. Let me see. The presidential debate was hilarious. That's my thoughts on that. It's the same thing every 4 years. Just enough. It's just stuff to get the people talking. Well, if she got the jab, ask her if she got sick immediately after. If she didn't get sick, then she cool. But if she got sick or got the flu after she got the jab, leave her alone. Yes, I balance energy there. Don't take no money from them people. Don't do it. Then you in a pocket and it's a wrap. That's why I never did that. I never jumped on a platform. Like you guys never seen me. I did the lecture at UNLV. I did that for a friend. So, but I never jumped on a platform to where I'm doing interviews and everything. I stayed away from that. That's not like you people got agendas. Like you got to think about that. It's a production team and producers and it's a lot of people behind that, and they got friends and they got positions, and they're not trying to make no smoke for their people who put money in their bank account. So it's like it's a big conflict of interest for you if you want to put out some truth. It's going to conflict with those people who put money in your bank account. So it's better to not take their money. Let me see. Yeah, hermetic stuff is all legit. Yeah, like, there was giving people money. My mom told me they offer her $200 to get the jab, and she was like, hell no. Yeah, I balance energy. That lecture, there was yelling. There was because you got to think about it. Like, excuse me, I'm attacking. I'm not really attacking. I'm just telling the truth about something that's putting money in their pocket. Again, go back to the money thing. It's a conflict of interest. People don't give a shit about it's destroying the black community. They care about how much money is put in their bank account. So of course, when you start talking against it, they're going to defend that and be like, they're going to say what they got to say. It make us look like we crazy for speaking on what we can see clearly is destroying the black community. So yeah, it was a lot of arguing because, they didn't want to really get on that. Talked about Sue. I talked about Billy Carson earlier. It's bullshit, but I still recommend you guys listen to what he's saying because you need to know. So when you do your research, you can debunk and get past all that bullshit. Exactly. Like the money is how to control it. Everybody sold us out. Just pay attention. They sell you out quick. People take the money fast. They don't care about their people. They care about shitting on you. They care about having a better car, a better house than you. That's what they care about. They don't care about black progress and what's going on, or they don't care about spirituality. They care about the money. It's just that simple. And it's, again, like I said, Dr. Ben died poor. His funeral got paid for by a basketball player. It's tough doing this, but it's not hard as far as like having a steady lifestyle and being able to make money. You can still put out truth and do your own thing and make money. And it's cool when people support and everything like that. It makes it worth, risking everything. But taking it from them people, they offer it because they want you to shut up and talk about what they want you to talk about. There's no way in the world I could do that. I'm not built for that. I can't do that. I can't willingly know that I'm scamming people or I'm hurting people and be able to do it. It's not in me to do that. I'm soft in that way. I care about the truth way too much. Yeah, Dr. Ben, what's the truth, Jack? Yes, this place is definitely hell. Physical as hell. The Bible is not a true book. Nothing in the Bible has ever been proven. That's why you got to have faith in the book, because it's not proven. But definitely not a true book. It's a book you need to read. They got a lot of information that you can get the truth out of it once you follow the parables that's in that book. Let me see. Bird flu. Yeah, they're working on the bird flu. They're working on a whole another virus. We're going to get into that. Yes. Search there. Good thing. Matter is dying. Oh, that's so deep. People not going to understand that. Oh yeah, Philly fans are tough. Like, but one thing I can say, if you go to Philly and you cool, especially being a foreigner, that's one thing about Philly, we are real hospitable, believe it or not. That's why they call it the city of brotherly love. If you come in there and you're not from Philly, you're gonna get treated like a king. We're gonna take you to all the good places to eat. It's just how we are. But if you talk shit, oh yeah, it's not gonna be good. That's just how it is. But yeah, a lot of Philly fans can be assholes, even to other Philly fans. Prophecies have not come true. What prophecy came true that an angel came down and made happen? Like, agendas came true. You can't write something in a book and then do it and then say it's a prophecy. What came first, the prophecy or the book? Understand? So if I say something, hey, this is going to happen, and then 10 years later it happens, it's not a prophecy, especially if I'm the person that's doing it. I said it was going to happen, but I made it happen. So these things that are happening that people are saying are prophecies, they are man-made. Men are doing these things. There's nothing biblical coming true. It's people. Deuteronomy 28 is not a prophecy, man. Stop it. First of all, Deuteronomy 28 is not the same in the older manuscripts. That's what you got to understand. You go before the King James Version, it's completely different. So Deuteronomy 28 in the King James Version was written between 1604 and 1611. I get into all this. That's when slavery was already in full swing. It already happened. So everything it's talking about in Deuteronomy 28, as far as the yoke of iron on the slave's neck, it was already going on. Yeah, exactly. It talks about slavery. Exactly. So when was the King James Version written? During slavery, when slavery was already happening. So of course they already knew. So how you get around that is, one, does Deuteronomy 28 say the same in the older manuscripts? No. And I got a whole video on that because, one, if you read Greek, then you will see that Deuteronomy 28 is completely different. Deuteronomy 28:68 in Codex Sinaiticus and Codex Vaticanus is talking about kids. I broke that whole thing down in Greek. So if you read Greek, you can go and read the older manuscripts and see it's not the same. So it's the King James Version. It's called his version, the authorized version. King James was a Mason. So it's not prophecy, man. It's a book that's written, and stuff happening from the people who wrote it. That's all it is. And I got too many videos on that, so yeah. Yeah, if you guys can get to Egypt, I wouldn't recommend now because from when I seen it, because I'm already was planning the trip. So from the email that I got, it's deemed not safe. So when I went the last time, we had bodyguards, we had security. So, but right now, because of what's going on, I fucking highly recommend don't go over there. Wait till all this shit blow over. I mean, if you do go, it's expats over there. You can hire them for $250 as security, and they're the best thing to hire. Your guy to get you in contact with them if you go. But yeah, I don't recommend Egypt right now. But if you do go, get the security. If you pay, shoot me an email, the realmerkabah@gmail.com. Shoot me an email saying that you got an issue with never paying a membership. I'll make sure it get updated. The site is being updated right now, so that's why it looks the way it looks. Good question. What do you think of the effects of alcohol spiritually? Alcohol is made, that's why they call it spirits. It's made to yoke. It puts you in a different, altered state of consciousness, just like weed. So it would be a good thing if you're doing meditation to go into an altered state of consciousness. If you're not meditating, I don't recommend it. So weed is really for meditation. Spirits are as well. Outside of that, that's why they call it recreational use. Then it's for you to just act goofy. If you're not using it for spiritual use, then I highly recommend you don't. Paulo, what is it? Paulo Sports 7, you on the wrong channel, bruh. Jesus is the Son of God, fact. Okay, prove it. How is he the Son of God? He's the sun in the sky of God. He's not the Son of God. What proof you have that Jesus is the Son of God? What proof you have of God? You got no proof. You have faith. You have no proof. So what you're saying is what you choose to believe, and you accept that in your heart or what have you. Oh, shout out to, like, if you look, think about it like this. If you have faith in the Bible, and that's what you choose to accept and believe and take in your heart, I ain't gonna knock you. More power to you, because being a Christian and following that lifestyle can have benefits. But that's on the spiritual side of what you choose to believe. If we speak it on the truth, on what's proven and what's real, then you can't prove none of that. It's just what you choose to believe and you have faith in. I can't knock you for that. But when you come and say, hey, this is this, and this is really happening, Jesus is the Son of God, okay, prove it to me. You can prove it to me, I'll follow you anywhere. You won't be able to do that. You have faith. That's it. You don't have any proof or facts. You got faith. Bible has never been proven. Has not. Sorry, it just hasn't been proven. One, we never had the original books of the Bible. We don't have them. We have copies of copies. And then those are in horrible state of they messed up, put it like that. So, like, you got to look at the history of the book and not the book itself. The book itself is in question. So you need to look at everything that's surrounded in its creation, which I get into all that in the Ancient History series, which I just posted the rundown on that. So if you got Never Pay Again membership, you can get it. You can watch all the episodes. Yeah, the Bible is we're in Revelations right now. So that's why everybody's saying the end times and everything like that. When you look at it on the scale of what they're doing or what have you. So it's all lining up because these people. I mean, just look at it. Like, one, the fact that, it says that the government, God put the government in charge. So it makes sense for them to push the book. They do give you 501c3 status if you're a church, right? So Satan is the God of this world. All this stuff. It's just give you too many hints and clues showing you that what the book is. It's their creation. I showed it in a video with the Bibles, mini Bibles video I just put out, the Masonic Bible. The fact that a Masonic Bible exists should tell you something. Stop it. First of all, there is no proof that Josephus even existed. There's no proof. We have writings. So what was his name? Josephus is his writing name. Forget his real name. But one, that's already been scripted. Like, you late. Josephus is no proof on him, one. No proof he existed. And then all his stuff has always been is sketchy. And still, what Josephus wrote is after the fact. Everybody who wrote anything about Jesus is after the fact. There's never been any proof that Jesus, well, I went to Israel. I went to Golgotha. I walked the same walk he supposedly have walked. It's a tourist attraction. That should tell you enough right there. It's a tourist attraction. If this is where Jesus, the Son of God, is supposed to have walked, why the fuck is it a tourist attraction? I mean, think about that. It's no proof. It's no proof of none of that. It's just hearsay. It's no proof of any of it. So if the Bible a history book, how come it's not in the history books we get in school? How come they start teaching the Bible in school if it's a history book? I mean, think about that. It's not a history book. It's a distorted book that is justifying what happened to black people. I broke that down. So again, real quick, with the Hebrews, what did God tell the Hebrews to do? Go and utterly destroy those people, wipe them out, all those tribes, right? So when you trace those tribes back, you know, the Girgashites, the Hivites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, when you trace them back, they go back to Ham, right? Ham is supposed to be the progenitor of black people, right? So there you go. Them justifying what they did in real life. In real life, we had the Greeks and Romans go into these African territories, Northern Africa, to these tribes and conquer and kill these people, saying that God gave them this. You ever hear of Manifest Destiny? Which is American, but still, it's the same concept. So that's what it is. It's the justification of what they did to us. It's not history. It's them trying to justify what they did. There's no proof of no Hebrews going out and conquering none of these people. But there is proof of the Greeks and Romans conquering these people. So think about that. I did in the Bible series, and then I think it's Saturn and Satan series, I get into the whole Josephus thing. So you got to check out those videos. There's a lot on that. But I basically crush anything you got to say about all that. Matter of fact, was that Greek mythology 3? When I got into all that information, a lot of people, you got to understand, one, so much was changed with the Bible. That's one. But you got to go back and look at where we get all this information from. And then all the scholars who research this stuff tell you that we can't find any proof of these Jews predating the 4th century BCE, you might as well say the 2nd century, with the creation of the Septuagint. Septuagint is Greek. We don't get a Hebrew manuscript until the Masoretic text, which is in the 11th century. So there's no proof that we had a Hebrew manuscript at all. We never had it. It's only said to have been written in Greek, the Old Testament. We never actually had it. So take that, and this is why they stay away from the Septuagint, and they don't want to basically realize that the Greeks, the white Greeks, gave it to us. So this is why they have to believe in King James Version, because they want to say King James is black and gave us a real version, which, you know, it's all bullshit. Which I talk about this. I took the towels down because I didn't want towels to be in the background. Beat racks. Yes, Arias Piso 164. You the man on that. Polar B. I got a lot of friends that's brainwashed by religion as well, and I be tearing their ass up like every week. They always try to call me and or email me like they got me. They send me some shit like, see, you know, they found a chariot wheel, you know, in the Red Sea, and I'm like, no, that didn't happen. That's bullshit. Yes, biblical characters are not real. Yeah, God is spelled dog backwards, that be, because it's dogma. And I talked about that with the Anubis thing, Anubis being dog and everything having to do with the afterlife. All that shit is tied up in. All that stuff goes together. It's all allegorical stuff. Excuse me. Al Yehuda tablets predate Hebrew. One, you got to prove that the Al Yehuda tablets actually does predate Hebrew and that they are real and really existed. We don't get nothing in Hebrew proven before the Septuagint Greek. So yeah. Or else it would be, it would be like the biggest thing ever if we could find everything we get that they say predates the Septuagint is usually a fragment or a shard. It's always some bullshit. But then when you go and do your deep research into what they're saying, it's always believed to be or thought to be. It's never 100% proven. Then you gotta look at all the scholars who researched it. One, was it put out publicly? Is a public researcher able to do any public research on it? They usually don't allow that because you're gonna know the truth then. But they usually say believed to be or thought to be, but it's never 100% proven to be. Plain and simple. We can go back and we can 100% prove the Greeks existed. We can go back and we 100% prove the Egyptians existed. People talked about them outside of Greece and Egypt. It's not the same with the Jews. For them to be doing everything they're supposed to have did in the Bible and the Old Testament, how come no civilization is talking about this? We gotta think about that. So yeah, I'll get into all this in a lot of videos. Let me see, where we at? 324? Okay, we're getting there. It's probably more than that by now. I did do a video about the natal chart and how to read it. It's in, when I went to Mexico, I forget the video I put out on it. I think it's an ancient history video, but I got into natal charts and all that because I did mine when I was in Mexico from the Mayan calendar. Yeah, Billy is a good speaker, man. A lot of those dudes are a good speaker. Obama was a good speaker, but it's all bullshit. J-Dub, do white people come from albino Dravadians? White people come from, they're a mutation of black people. Is frequency and vibration 3? If it's not in that link, matter of fact, you'll get sent another link for those two videos. But no, it's not in that group that you got with the download, but you'll get sent another link with those two videos. So don't worry about it. You'll get it in a little bit. Yeah, people are scared of the truth, and I don't blame them. No, Gilgamesh is another allegorical story. Yeah, the Mayans, I talked about that in, again, I think it's an ancient history video when I was down in Chichen Itza in Mexico. I did the whole video on all that. And just getting into what the Mayans talked about. And again, it just goes back to what I was saying before, where everybody was looking for these beings to come back. And when they didn't come back, people just left. Everything just changed from that point on. No, white people were not invented by Yokebi, whatever the hell whoever that name is. It's already proven. And I get into this topic with a lot of people. We have the mutation. So this is why Ted is doing a bunch of videos now, because there's no way around it now. We have the mutation. So I talked about Dr. Keith Chang, who is the guy, he's the genetic researcher who did the research on the zebrafish, where they found the genetic mutation that changed black skin into white skin. This is not a theory. It's not something that's debated on. It's proven. We have the actual mutation. One, vitiligo, OCA, which is oculocutaneous albinism, is a trait of this mutation. So you have OCA 1, 2, 3. Africans are the only race on the planet that carries all the traits because Africans are the originator, patient zero. And OCA is hereditary, meaning what? Exactly. Yeah, Griffin, which I don't want to mess up your name, but yeah, quantum computing is fucking nuts, yo. I'm definitely gonna get into that. That is just like, that shit is beyond Skynet. Like quantum computing, what they doing with that is fucking ridiculous. Like, if it ever get like, I don't want to say weaponized, but once it's going to get put in a system to where it's going to govern us. There's no running after that. That's game. Like this freedom we got now, woo, we're going to wish we had it 20 years from now. But that shit is going to change everything. Yeah, so good question for Crazy Box Don. Was it Crazy BX Don? But yeah, the Crusades and Muslims, it's another thing. It's another way how you can put that together because remember I showed you guys in the video how you had Muslims or the Arabs that was with the Crusades. Think about that. So, excuse me, the Crusades happened because everybody was coming against Rome. They was coming against the Pope. People did not like the papacy. They was changing everything. So you had a lot of people come up against the papacy. And again, one of those things you got to look at and see how they hide behind the at this time just the Arabs, but Muslims as well. But this is what they was doing. So you can't have the people from the church going out and slaughtering all these freaking white people. So you got to have different people go out because they wasn't going to do it. So when you pay attention to the Crusades, most of those people were Berber or mixed or Arabs or whatever you want to call them, and they were going out wiping out all those people who was in opposition to the church, including the last free remnants of the Moors, because the Moors were more. I talked about in the Moors video with the Assassin's Creed thing. They were basically wiped out by a bunch of assassins. Let me see. No, the characters in the Bible can't be real. So, I mean, think about what you're saying. Like, the characters in the Bible real is, I mean, think about Ezra. Think about Elijah and Elisha. And these guys had superpowers. Like, no, they wasn't real. It's all metaphorical. Those guys, not real. Yeah, YouTube took down a lot of my videos. So, yeah, I'm in the process of getting a lot of those videos back up. Yeah, my art can be used as a form of religion, but it's like, I mean, if you practicing my art, it's don't use religion. It's my art. But you can think about it in that context, a truth, which is what I go by. If it ain't truth, it's just no way you should be wrapped up in it. Alex, what's going on? Day's been good. Phillies won. I'm happy. Black Lives Matter, like, don't even get into none of that bull crap. It's just, you don't want to deal with none of that stuff. Banana Republic, what's going on, my nigga? Yeah, I mean, you can look at it like that. White people being a product of a cold European environment, which is where how this mutation occurred, which, as I talked about, and you go deeper into it, it was made to occur when you really pay attention. Everything changed after that, and the way that it changed is in a way that you can't, like, man, look at the conquest. It was like it was made to do exactly what they did. So, yeah. Yeah, Don Yang, I want to butcher your name, sorry about that. What do you think the common ancestor could be? I believe it's something reptilian. I'm just going to keep it real. Sounds spooky, I know, but like when you really get into it, as I talked about in the Dragons video, I think it's Forget Mystery School on the Dragons. There's no way you can look at all that information and get around that. It's too much with that. That's like proven. So I don't, I don't like to do spooky shit. If I can't prove it, I don't like to really talk about it. But that shit is proven right there. Yeah, no Ham, Shem, or Japheth. Like, come on. None of those people existed. Like, you got to really look at the metaphor of what it's talking about. Like I said, people just ignore common sense all the time. What I just broke down to you, showing you one, you have in that book them going into these lands. First of all, let's go to this part. Commandments, right? Come down, Moses come off Mount Sinai with the 10 Commandments, says clear as day, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, right? This is the commandments he's given to the Hebrews. Then he commands them to go do exactly that, kill and steal. Think about that. He comes down, give you 10 commandments, then tell them to go break those commandments. And what do? They go and kill and steal and wipe out those people. Then you got to look at the names of those people and how they go back to Ham, which is supposed to be the progenitor of black people. Think about that. But then we look in real, actual proven history, and we see the same thing has happened, right? In real life, but with the Greeks and the Romans and the Persians or what have you, and the Arabs. So clearly that's what they're talking about. And I made that whole connection in a lot of videos to where it's undeniable. So it's up to you as a black person to choose to accept that or not. You want to keep believing in, the fairy tale of the Bible, you know what that's been doing for you and for our people. And look at the true proven history that we can prove and see how you can match it up with the Bible and see what they're actually talking about. That's what they're talking about. It's them justifying what happened. So when a real, person that has a conscience comes and look at the genocide that's happened against African people, and then look at the Bible and they believe the Bible, then they can look at the genocide that these Europeans was doing against us and say it's godly. It's God's will, what God wanted to happen for them to civilize us. Because they're not telling our real history of what we was actually doing in Africa and everything that we did, all the accomplishments, which I got a whole video on that. They're not telling that. We didn't get that information in school. We got Dr. King and all this bullshit. So it shows you deception right there. Why would they enslave you, then give you a book about saving your soul and shit that's supposed to happen when you dead? Meanwhile, they burning your ass and lynching your ass and killing you and raping and everything. Like, come on. Everything that they did, every step of the way, once they gave you the book, goes against the book. Why would you believe it? Then people come up with, they changed the Bible. Okay, well, if they changed it, why would you believe it? Daydream Daisy, hey, what's going on? Keith Baker, don't even worry about it. A lot of people just use the N-word. It is what it is. Don't feel weird about it. People say nigga and all that, just how black folks talk. There's no disrespect to you or nobody else. It's just something that we can't escape from when we talking and feeling comfortable around each other. There's no disrespect to white people at all. Just your ass don't say it. We all one, man. We all one, Keith. Don't even worry about it, man. It's all good. What, you let your daughter marry a white man? Of course. She can marry whoever she fall in love with. Like if you, that's one thing. If people look at me, they know I'm pro-black, but I'm pro-black as far as the history and everything like that. I'm black. It is what it is. It's about the truth. I've never been on some kill white people, hate white people, militant, or Asian or what have you when I'm teaching everybody that we come from the same place. Like arguing over race is so stupid. We're not arguing over color. We're arguing over history and what has been done to us by these people with this color. So when you know the truth around that and everything that happens, you look at it differently. No white person walking around today fucked you over as far as slavery-wise. May have fucked you over with a job or money or what have you. As far as back in that day, they wasn't around. Neither was us. So we look at history and we got to look at it as far as what happened. What it boils down to, no matter what color you are you on the side of right or wrong? What happened to us was wrong. So if you want to be white or Asian or black or whatever color you want to be and agree with slavery and what happened to us, then of course we're going to go against you. because that's some bullshit. So, like, I tell Christians, if you're a Christian and you believe in Jesus and the Bible, you agree and condone slavery and what happened to black people. You agree with that shit. You're saying that we were fucking, unsophisticated idiots who needed to be civilized by the white man. If you're agreeing with that shit. And it's, no, and this is why people flip-flop into the Hebrew side of it, because they don't want to accept that. But it's the same shit. It's the same thing. Pop Smoke, appreciate it, man. Pop Smoke veteran. Chaos. See, I got into all that about why the whole thing happened with black people. That's deep. That's a lot to get into. But you got to look at, like, the progress that they made once all this stuff happened, the big change that happened. Again, we wasn't doing what we were supposed to do as far as growing spiritually. So the things were done. It just wasn't done the way it was supposed to be done, to really get into it. Meaning of the word. Yeah, Tupac Dead remixed the word, the meaning of the word nigga. I like that song. N-I-G-G-A. Never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. All right, I'm gonna have to get out of here in a second because my battery's about to die and I really gotta go soon. It's working. Yeah, yeah, we are all one, man. Don't get into that race stupid bullshit. Like, don't even get into that because white people being fooled just like we being fooled. Yeah, a lot of people ask me about what I listen to music-wise. Like I told you guys before, I was in the music industry. I was, a producer. I made beats and all that. I wrote a lot of songs, and I love making music. I love hip hop growing up and everything like that. When it was saying stuff that was like beneficial to our people, I just can't get into none of this shit now. It's just horrible listening to this music now. And I liked a lot of the, Tupac, my favorite rapper, always will be. I liked the wordplay back in the day. Now it's just horrible. It's not uplifting our people. It's not giving us no real stuff to think about. So I don't really bang with it. Do I like Jay-Z? Jay-Z music I grew up with Jay-Z music. So yeah, I like that. I like Jay-Z music. Jay-Z gives you a lot of esoteric insight. If you, listen, I think I said this before, Dynasty, you must listen to it. Jay-Z, you gotta listen to Jay-Z. He's giving you so many nuggets and so much esoteric shit he's talking about. Hail Mary to the city, you're a virgin, and Jesus can't save you. Life starts when the church ends. And he go in on the Bible and so much shit. That's why they hate his ass. But he give you a lot of insight because Jay-Z is a Mason, so he give you a lot of insight in a lot of his music. Same thing with Rick Ross. No drill, hell no. Yeah, Lucifer, son of the morning, exactly. So a lot of people went crazy when it came over. Lucifer, son of the morning, with Kanye. I mean, you got to understand. It's a lot of esoteric information. Same thing with Beyonce. So much esoteric shit and the stuff they put out, you got to pay attention to it. Oh, yeah, Rakim. Oh, we got the same birthday. Man, Rakim was born on January 28th, same as me. Yeah, Rakim I listen to. 444, I'm all for it. I like the old Kanye music. He getting real esoteric in the new stuff, though. Let me see. All right, yeah, I've been on this shit for 183 minutes, a couple hours. So yeah, I'm going to put this into a video, put this out. But I'm going to let you guys know ahead of time when I do the next live stream. New videos coming out. But in the meantime, make sure you guys take advantage and never pay again membership. Grab the freaking collection or whatever, my catalog, Merkabah catalog. And yeah, it's a lot of new shit coming up, but I gotta go. But I'm going to live stream again, so it's a lot of people. Well, we got 320 something at one point. But I appreciate all you guys who came in and jumped in and for my first live stream, and I'll be back for that. But yeah, I gotta go. See you guys next video.